All right, welcome in Dynasty and Beers, episode 11. We finally get Jacob back on. Then we got our beers or what is that? Tiki.
Yeah, I got a
Is that
tiki rum Mai Tai.
is that 12.5%?
I think it is. It tastes pretty strong.
I saw that golfing, and someone was telling me they got like just so juiced on those tiki rums. Never heard of
Well,
them.
hey, it's going to be an interesting episode tonight then.
Yeah. I mean, hey man.
Oh man. Well, I'll just drink more and catch up.
That's right. Yeah, I gotta go rip. I guess when the right moment comes down, I'll go downstairs and I'll find something. But right now, I just got the zero cherry Pepsi. You know.
Yeah.
I know Dan's concerned about my Pepsi Zero intake.
Yeah.
But
we
hey
talked
man.
it out though, so I guess I'm kind of reluctantly signing off. But I just don't want
Yeah.
your brains to have the holes in it. So.
Yeah. Hey man, we're
That
good.
dynasty intact.
Hey man, maybe my teams will fall apart if I get some holes in the brain. You know.
You can't have that.
You know.
You can't have that.
You can start taking advantage of me in trades.
Oh yeah, I got pros and cons.
Yeah, so, today, finally get Jacob on. We try to get you on for, like, the rookie pre-draft stuff, which would have been awesome. Didn't work out, because, like, the draft happened then, right after we were supposed to do it. But finally get you back on, and...
We pull up his mock draft 2.0 or what was it, the break room? We got to compare that. See
That
how
was before the
accurate that
NFL
turned out
draft
to be.
happened.
Man, he got it right. He got Tyler Shook right. He's the Tyler Shook trader.
It was before the NFL
Yeah.
draft, so it's definitely aging bad.
I don't know. I mean, I'll have to look at it again. Like, I didn't think from what I can remember, it looked that bad. Maybe I'm just like, yeah, you got it shook right. Good enough.
Well, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about exactly, it wasn't an actual mock draft for the NFL draft. It was essentially like a rookie mock draft for our Dynasty League, the break room, and in terms of which league mates would draft which NFL rookies. So. I haven't looked at that in a while, so I'm not sure exactly how it turned out. But yeah, not an easy thing to predict.
Yeah, I would have been. I honestly though, I think I would have been a lot more accurate post NFL draft, obviously. But I don't want to leak my board by then, so like.
True, and you did like factor in. Here's the thing: you actually did a really good job, at least for our picks. I thought for the first picks, because our original plan was literally to go Travion Henderson, like even actually post draft. Because we drafted immediately after. Ours was actually go Henderson over Tet because, like, they were close enough. They go one apart even now. And you had that down. We would go Henderson first, and then Ward would fall to us at 6. And that was like, if that happened, that we'd be fine with that. And then if Ward somehow went at 5, like, that means we get Tet, and it was, like, perfect. So, and then we ended up making a big trade, which created this whole thing for Dan where, like, he took Ward and then had like 4. So you actually were right about basically like the logic of how the draft would start, but we ruined it because we traded up for pick 1, which you can't see coming.
Yeah, I was surprised Dan sniped you at quarterback because in the mock I was like, oh, like Dan is not gonna take one. He has 3, and he would only possibly do this to just screw over Blake, and that's what happened. So
dude,
that was funny.
I thought like you had the good logic. You put the pieces together, and that's how it should have went, and probably how it actually still would have went, because he would have taken Tet had we made no trades, and then we would have got Cam Ward, but Tet wasn't available after the trade. So
yeah, I kind of begrudgingly took Cam Ward just because I felt like he was the best player on the board. I guess I'm kind of I was kind of low on Travion Henderson because I'm a Michigan fan, and he just never seemed to show up against Michigan. He was just like invisible. At least like 2 out of the 3 games he played against Michigan, and then the 4th game he was injured, which was also part of my concern about him. So yeah, it just kind of felt like I sort of went with Cam Ward by default. I wasn't like thrilled about it. I definitely wanted Tet. But yeah, I was eventually able to move Ward. I think I got like JMO and what was it, like 2 seconds or a second and a third, something like that. I was happy. But yeah, Blake's trade definitely messed me up there.
Yeah, maybe if we get time, we can actually look back at the mock or something if we remember.
Sure.
But yeah, got you back on. We got what do we got in store here? We got blind comps. We got 3 of them, all receivers. Should be fun. Again, we were telling Jacob pre-show, not targeted at him, though we would have if we had more time. Try to blow his mind, but
Right.
at least the 2 I did, I thought these were like the players are at least in the kind of the same category of. It's not like I was telling Jacob. I'm not comparing Devontae Adams to Marvin Harrison Jr. That's not the point. So they're at least similar enough, and it should be fun. And I don't think, especially one of them, there's no way you guys are gonna. I don't even think you'll guess one of the players from one of them. I'll say that. So
Okay.
I'm probably not gonna guess any.
Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Yeah,
You
Thanks for
might
having me
get,
on
you
too.
might get mine. I don't think mine was
I
like.
think I think I've already got one of Dan's. If you saw my text,
I saw it.
you don't have to say anything, but I was just looking at the numbers, putting them in, and I was like, yeah, I think I know what this is, and probably Jacob will too. We'll see. So
Yeah, I didn't have enough time to be too creative, so forgive me for that. But yeah, we'll get some better ones next time, Jacobson.
yeah, we got 3 ready. Well, let's just get into that, and then after, we'll have this wide receiver roundtable discussion, just general dynasty wide receivers, looking at the pieces of the puzzle, what's important. Because, again, as Jacob said when he came on before, he loves, all the numbers and stuff, but it's like, that's the metrics and splits, and that's a piece of the puzzle, so we'll get into the nitty-gritty of that, and maybe how each of our opinions, vary or are similar.
We'll definitely talk dynasty process and approach and strategy,
Cool.
and just how we weigh metrics versus how they look on film. Just how do they look to the casual eye, intuition, situation, landing spot, draft capital, so many different variables. So we'll kind of talk about how we weigh all those different factors and determine who the league winners are going to be or who the breakouts are going to be. So I think it should be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, and so here we go. This is mine, first one here. And again, I wanted at least the numbers to kind of match up. But this one I thought this one was really fun. And yeah, I mean, let's just go through them for anyone listening on audio. We'll list player A first, then player B, and then I even have bonus stats for both these guys. So
actually, Blake, can I make a little recommendation here?
Yeah.
Just in terms of how my brain works. I don't know if everyone else is different, but I like to hear the numbers apples to apples. So say yards per route run. Player A was this, player B was that.
Sure.
Target per route run. Player A was this, player B was that.
For sure, yeah. Let's do that. All right, so player A for blind comp 1, we have yards per route run at 1.33. Player B has 2.15, and just for context, anytime you're floating around 2 or higher, that's really good. Just for anyone that's not familiar, you want to be floating around that 2 or higher. So targets per route run, again, this is something where hopefully you're floating around 20 or plus, and player A has 18.3 percent of his routes run result in targets. We're gonna. It should be a decimal for the stat, but we've turned it into a percent, just if you're confused. Right. So 18% or 18.3% of player A result in targets. Player B has 24.6% of his routes result in a target. Another sticky metric, first downs per route run. Player A, 6.7% of his routes run turn in first downs. Player B, 8.8%. Both these players had 3 touchdowns. And then bonus stats, player A was second in the league for unrealized air yards. Player B, 14th in the league with 716. Any ideas on you guys? Let me ask you this, actually, before we get in. What do you think, the difference on... Call it, underdog, just because that's the best ADP we have right now. What do you think, where do you think these guys should be going? Just looking at this.
I mean, you would think that the player B, who has the higher yards per route run and targets per route run, you would think that would be the
Much
better
higher.
player, and it's probably going higher on underdog would be my guess, unless you're just trying to completely mislead us here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Blake. It's definitely a mislead.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly off this, B
just
should be
just
better.
shoot a number. Just shoot like it doesn't have to be. Don't worry about it being accurate. Just like shoot me like looking at
Round
those
3
metrics.
for player B. He's going
Okay.
in round 3 in underdog.
Okay, and player A.
This is
What about
redraft,
that?
yeah?
Yeah, redraft.
Yeah, but receivers are pushed up though, like really pushed up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
What about player A? Just shoot
All right,
something.
player A on underdog. I'm gonna say. I mean, I should probably be guessing this totally different per Jacob's instinct there about Blake misleading us. But I'm just gonna fall for the trap here. Yeah, player A on underdog. Let's say he's going in round 9.
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna call Blake's bluff and
Yep.
say like it's like they're like 10 ADP picks apart.
Okay.
By the way, so I am much more like reading the finishes, like
Yep.
not the raw numbers themselves, like, oh, this guy was 47th on this or something.
Yep.
I think, I don't know, this might look bad, but I think player A is Roma Dunze. 'Cause
Okay.
he had notably shit splits, and this would be the guy that like that Blake is like here. I don't know who player B is at all though.
Yeah.
I think by that laughter, I think you may have guessed the right
Hey, man.
answer.
Yeah,
You got
it's
me.
giving Rome vibes.
You
'cause
got me.
Rome splits are really hurtful.
Definitely got me
Oh,
there.
did I actually get it?
It is
Did I
Roma
actually get
Dunze,
it?
player
oh, awesome.
A.
Okay, cool.
Wow.
Player.
I was gonna guess something different.
Yeah, the unrealized air yards was going to be the dead giveaway for if anyone was like familiar with that.
Yeah.
Was like a lot of the balls that he got were just like throwaway / like uncatchable, like targets, and so he resulted in second league.
Player B's hard. I don't know. I'm getting like Zay Flowers vibes because he
Oh,
was
wait.
like
I gotta
kind
guess.
of good.
Yep.
All right, I gotta guess Blake.
Okay.
Stephon Diggs for player B.
No, I didn't use him in any because he just didn't have enough routes ran.
That feels like what Diggs did, just off
Yeah.
vibes. That
Yeah.
Because I think I
decent
heard
last
some of
year.
the stats, and
That
that sounded
dude.
very.
That I'll agree. That even the touchdowns, like that does look like Stephon Diggs. Absolutely. It is not. Do you want to know who player B is?
Yeah, my guess is Zay,
Alright.
but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Dan? It's not Stephon Diggs. Any last final guess as the viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of a receiver that would have about that kind of.
Yeah, they're gonna be. He's similar.
rate.
He's a young receiver. I'll give you that. Under 25 or 25 or under.
All right, I'm just gonna say Chris Olave.
Okay. And for the viewers at home, finalize it. Your guess. Player A, and type in the chat, by the way, if you got these right or wrong, or who you thought it was. Player A is, Romo Dunze. Player B, George Pickens.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, on Underdog, they're actually... Roma Dunze was going much higher pre-draft. Of course, now he's tumbled down the board, but they're going 4 widers. They're basically going the exact same spot on Underdog. Now, of course, we could project Rome to be better. Completely understandable. There's the
Better
unrealized...
than he was as a rookie because he's going in.
Certainly, I hope so. Yeah, I mean that's 100%. We'll say he's going to be better than 8. I couldn't even put points per game on here because if I did, it would just like ruin everything. It would be like 8 points per game for Rome, and Pickens had pretty solid, but you got
Was Rome that bad? I thought he was closer to like
8
I don't
points,
know.
8.6 points per game. It was unbelievably atrocious. And actually, one thing to point out because again, I thought this was even more fun about the whole unrealized yards and potentially points. Well, George Pickens was he actually, if you remember that Giants game, primetime Monday night. Well, he had 3. I think he fell in the one, and he had 2 touchdowns legitimately called back off complete baloney. Where he would have had a nuclear game, and then also early season. I remember Dan and I were talking, dude. Pickens had so many huge plays, phantom holding calls, one random OPI that was all right, that could have went either way, just stuff like that. So if the argument, I think that's the fun part. Yeah, if you want to say that for Rome, dude, Pickens 100% got left a lot on the table. His fault or not getting a toe in. So yeah, I thought this was a crazy comp just to see how the numbers. Like, and Pickens walks into a better situation. Like, dude, the Cowboys, they're not going to have a run game. Jaden Blue, Miles Sanders, Javonte. Any thoughts?
For redraft, Pickens, I think, absolutely clears. I saw some post. It was like last year Pickens was like, I think it was like first in targets above 15 plus yards and like second in catches or something. And then Dak equivalently was like second in attempts of 15 plus yards and like first or second in completion. So there was something like that, and I was just like, oh, like that's cool. I was hoping he was gonna fall, and then I don't know. I knew once DJ Moore was picked in our startup, I was like, oh, like Blake's taking Pickens. I'm gonna miss him by one pick, and I'm gonna just suck it up. And that's exactly what happened.
You got Waddle, man.
Yeah, I did. I like him.
You got your guy. You know?
Yeah.
But and that's our startup draft that we recently completed in our listener league for the Dynasty Savvy YouTube channel. So
also, I was trying to pass you to get Pickens because I knew you were going to do that, and I could not pull it off because nobody wanted Waddle.
To be fair, like I seriously was considering Waddle because here's the thing: it wasn't just between Waddle and Pickens; it was between them and Metcalf as well. And I was just praying Metcalf fell to me because I just like I didn't even realize like how in at that ADP I was until I saw Metcalf like sitting there 2 picks ahead of me. I'm like, holy smokes! Like I gotta get him. So I ultimately we'll leave that for the discussion. I think it's like, I maybe give my logic on it. It sounds like you might kind of have just a similar viewpoint on like those different receivers. But yeah, I mean, dude, I was shocked at Pickens, underlying metrics. I mean, to say that he had 3 touchdowns, like, dude, that one game he should have had 3 alone on Monday night. Just go back, watch that game. That game alone could have like completely, just made him felt like such a better dynasty asset than he's valued at right now. Like literally, that's what one game can do in dynasty. So, yeah.
And also, Blake, you just took Pickens with your last pick and another startup that we got right now, where you are co-managing a team with Matt at Hey Matt Hey from the Break Room and Listener League, and I am co-managing a team with Randy at Randy15 on Sleeper. Both friends of the channel, so that's kind of a fun thing. And you just took Pickens.
Yeah,
and what's kind of funny is that Randy and I had the pick right before you, and we drafted George Pickens. But it wasn't intentional. It was I did a fat thumb and accidentally hit auto draft, and Pickens happened to be at the top of our queue. We were definitely considering him very strongly.
Yeah.
I was like, oh crap, thankfully we were able to undo it. But we probably gave you a good scare there, so it's kind of worth it just for that. But we ended up going Justin Fields. But and you have Dak in that league, so you were able to get the stuff. But hopefully we gave you a good scare there.
Yeah, I was working, so I didn't even like see it happen. But then like Matt told me, and because we were just like hoping, like, all right, like. Hopefully Pickens is there, and then there's like, oh, like they undid this pick, sweet, like, awesome. And then, like the stack, it was cool, but like it just kind of naturally happened. Like the stack, we knew it was a possibility based off like where our picks were, but we weren't like gonna be like, oh, we're getting George Pickens no matter what.
Right. Same with Randy and I. Like, it sounds like Randy's not into stacks that much. I like him a little bit. It's not like everything. But we do have Garrett Wilson on the team, and so we would have picked Fields regardless. But it was kind of a nice bonus having.
Just like that, we both naturally had our stacks kind of fall in place.
Exactly, it was meant to be, so it all worked out.
Also, this is sweet. The quality is like actually showing on this. Like last time we did this, I think it was literally with Jacob, but like the screenshots were terrible. Like this is pristine quality, so good to see for the viewers out there. So. Yeah, here we go. Blind Comp 2. This is also mine. We'll go to Dan's next. Player A, for the audio listeners out here, has 1.76 yards per route run. B has 1.97. Targets per route run, 20.6% for A, 21.3% for B. First downs per route run, 8.1% for A, 9.65% for B. Touchdowns, 4 for A, 5 for B. So across the board, we're looking at these comps. Player B was slightly better at every single metric, but not crazy, but like, I guess the first downs per route run was notably better. By the way, 9.5 is from what the research I did. 9.5% first downs per route run is like a threshold of like that's where you want to be, especially if you're just like, I don't know. I guess like if you're not George Pickens, because like obviously a guy like George Pickens like really can make huge plays spot, or Jamison Williams or something. You're naturally going to be lower as a player like that, but if you can kind of piece it together with 9.5 or better, awesome. Any thoughts on? But any thoughts on like, again, underdog ADP? I actually got to look this one up. Where do you guys think these guys should be going rounds wise, or wide? Give me a wide receiver, 60 or 30, whatever you can think of.
Yeah, they look pretty similar. I mean, it seems like the yards per route run for both is pretty solid. Like both pretty close to 2, which is considered to be really good. The target rate or targets per route run, both solid. Around 20%, a little higher. So yeah, they're probably not like elite receivers, but I don't know. They might have like a high yards per catch, so maybe that's maybe they're more of like a deep threat type, or maybe they're just more of like the second or third option on their offense. But probably a solid receiver. It's still like a decent target rate there. They both have just not a ton of touchdowns. These are all 2024 stats, by the way. They're not like career stats or anything, but just to clarify that. But yeah, in terms of underdog, like where they're going, I mean, you would think they would be pretty similar spot that they're going to each other. Maybe like, receivers are pushed up on underdog, so maybe these are guys that are going in like round 6, somewhere around there, maybe.
I'm trying to find a one, but yeah, Jacob, go.
I feel like surely Blake doesn't give us tricks every time. Well, these ones are close now, and the last ones are far apart but close. These ones are close, so I'm gonna guess they're far apart. So
right.
It's still like a 3-round difference or something.
That sounds pretty accurate. I'm trying to get the numbers in live time.
So
oh yeah, good guess on the other one, by the way, because like that was like right on. Like you said, like right within the same ADP of like 10, and like that's exactly like spot on.
I'm gonna guess the difference is like 30 to 40 or something, just because that's what you would do.
Okay.
As far as guessing the player, player A is a little worse, and randomly I was researching shit. I don't know, like a week ago. I think player A is Jerry Jeudy.
Okay.
I feel like I remember reading a 1.7 on him, but maybe not. I don't know. Player B, I have no idea. I don't know which direction I want to guess he is better or worse, just because there must be a difference.
I was going to guess Jamison Williams for B, but I feel like he scored more than 5 touchdowns, so I don't think it's Jamison Williams.
That's a cool guess.
Yeah. I mean, I could see like a Zay Flowers, but I feel like his target share would maybe be a little higher than 21.3, but it's probably like in the ballpark. So yeah, I guess like Zay Flowers might be my best guess for the moment, but I'm not especially.
I'm gonna guess Jeudy and Josh Downs.
Okay, Jeudy is player
I think B
A.
is Josh Downs. All right.
It is not. Josh Downs is not player B. I'll give you guys a hint. This player on underdog is going roughly 20, basically 2 rounds below. Is 12 wide receiver spots below. And on Dynasty is far, far, far down the board. Like 3 to. I'll just say like conservatively like 3 rounds lower. But 3 to 5, I would say, rounds lower than Jerry Jeudy. You could expect them to go the startup between rounds 12 and 14, give or take.
That's a tough one. I feel like
it is not Cedric Tillman due to sample size reasons. I'll mention that.
Oh, that was going to be a guess.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I knew it was going to come, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up a list of players just because it'll probably help me pass with this.
Yeah. But by the way, Downs was Andrew's guess for one of the players that was not Roma Dunze last check.
Oh,
So
you texted it to Andrew just randomly?
No, he was in the stream and he guessed Downs.
Oh, gotcha.
Forgot to mention that.
Awesome. Yeah, good to have Andrew watching. I'm pulling up a list of receivers.
Yeah, what do you think? But yeah, lower.
How far apart did you say in redraft again? What was the distance?
Okay, again,
It was
underdog.
12 wide receiver spots?
Yeah, remember this is underdog. 12 wide, or yeah, about 12 receiver spots. It might have been 11 or something. And yeah, like Dynasty, this dude's going like earliest round 12, but he's probably like a round 13, like lock pick to 14.
Is it? Oh wait, that's too early for him. I was gonna guess Bateman, but that feels way too early for redrafts. That's not him for sure.
No, he had 9.
Yeah.
TDs.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Of course he did.
He's a TD king.
Yeah.
This is a fun one. I knew like you guys would not get this one, and that's why I loved it, because this is a player.
I feel like Jawan Jennings was better than that per route, so I don't think it's him.
No, that's a good guess though. It's in that realm of like dynasty receiver.
This one has stumped me. I'm.
Oh wait! Is it Jacoby Myers?
No, it isn't. Just tell me when you give up, and me in the chat if they can think of it, or if you're.
I'm just happy I got one.
If you're if you're rewatching, again, lock your answer in. You kind of got some other answers to work with. I'll give you guys like a final moment here to any give up or.
I mean, I know it's not.
I don't know.
I know it's not Khalil Shakir because one, Blake hates him, and two,
I would never make him look this good.
Per route run was that high.
I would never make Khalil Shakir look this good.
Yeah, exactly.
I would compare him to like Justin
Jefferson.
Thinking
I was thinking what player like scored 5 touchdowns, and actually, although Shakir's probably going, I don't know, where does he go in Dynasty? I mean, probably somewhere around that.
He goes like not too much further than Judy. Like he goes like round 10 now after post draft.
It's not Calvin Ridley, right? Like
no, but again, like in that
he goes earlier.
In that realm, really
is
in that
Debo?
realm. Nope.
All right, I'm.
I
guess.
Yeah. Okay. This is okay. I knew this was gonna this guy was gonna look good on paper too, and like, dude, I've been coming up on this guy. I think this guy's like really slept on. It's Darnell Mooney.
Wow. Oh gosh.
Like ADP's floating around round 13 right now. So about 5 rounds lower, like significantly lower in startups. I mean, I don't think his number splits. It was extremely small sample with Penix, but we do know Penix absolutely launches it downfield. Is really good at throwing outbreaking routes, by the way, downfield, which is like Mooney's bread and butter. So like, I think their skill sets at least match up. I feel like because of those 3 games, because Mooney didn't explode and he was prior to that, I feel like his people are like, it's not gonna work, or just like they just completely forgot about him. I'm in on Mooney, dude. Like I'm not trying to like overpay for him, but like at price, he's just objectively a good pick. I'm sorry, he's
I
amazing.
agree.
So, thoughts?
Yeah, well, you say that Mooney's easy to forget about. Like you're right, because like I completely forgot about Mooney. Like he just like didn't even like enter my brain as someone to guess there. So yeah, very very sneaky choice there, Blake. That was pretty good, but yeah. So it's Mooney versus Judy. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could argue that Mooney is kind of that Walmart version then. I mean, of course.
Here's the thing.
I mean, Judy had a phenomenal season. I mean, no one wants to give him credit, but I mean, Mooney had a solid season, but it wasn't anywhere on Judy's level. But I guess I guess his efficiency was better.
Imagine if he didn't get the Winston boost. Like, dude.
So I guess if the Falcons come out and if Penix airs it out, I don't know if we're expecting that or not. But if he does, and if the Browns' passing volume comes down a little bit, could they have surprisingly similar production this season?
Well, here's the thing. He does have the Flacco boost, though we haven't actually seen him with Flacco. We could assume that, like, every Browns catcher gets the Flacco boost. Like, I'm willing to just, like, generalize, like, say that.
Right.
Their numbers are going to be better with Flacco than any other quarterback there. But, yeah, again, Mooney has this, like, on paper, should have a better quarterback boost. And also, that's the thing, is, like, I don't see it as a way that, like, Flacco can be better for Judy. Like, okay, if you want to say it would be like the same best case, sure. But like, how, dude? He was like on an absolute tear for the second half of the season, and like these are his metrics, worse than Darnell Mooney with Kirk Cousins most of the season. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, the math ain't mathing on that one. So,
And by the way, like this is pretty. This exemplifies it, but Judy at all ADPs and redraft and dynasty, I am a completely hard fade on. Like his metrics last year, like were not good, and he randomly lucked his way into like a giant 50 pass attempts pass offense. Like if that goes to 30, like he's way worse. And also, in the 4 games he played with Tillman after Amari Cooper left, before Tillman died, Tillman out-targeted him and outscored him for fantasy. So, like, he's just not somebody I'm in any way bullish on. I think I was talking up to Hawkeyes in the chat the other day. He was like, oh, he's going to be, like, awesome. And I was just like, I don't think so.
By the way, good mention on Tillman. I would have actually used him as the comp, like, for Judy, but he just didn't have enough, like, routes, not enough sample there. So, like, dude, wide receiver one though, for a month. I mean, you know, so I mean,
I guess this would also kind of be a little bit of an indictment against Tillman. Like maybe his stats were a little inflated, but hey, I mean, he's still on the Browns. I guess you could say that about Judy too.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel about whether the pass volume for the Browns is going to continue or not, but it could be the exact same situation. So, I mean,
that's the thing.
Last year, but the same fluke could happen again this
year.
The situation hasn't changed much.
And that,
from one, DGAF QB and Winston to now Flacco. So what's changed?
Here's the thing you're missing in that, right? But here's the thing. Guess what? Who was the like DGIF quarterback before Winston? It was literally Flacco. Like we saw Flacco Browns, and now regression is gonna. He's not gonna be the 25 point per game, outscoring Josh Allen player he was in 2023. That was the Flacco mania run. But like Flacco certainly boosts all his pass catchers. It's just like, I mean, okay, is Flacco gonna play every single game? Especially,
no.
Is he gonna play like week 17? No. Probably not. So, like, that's the key is that, like, the Judy bet could, like, kind of be correct if you're in, but it's just, like, not like a full season bet. It's so unlikely that he's the quarterback all 17 weeks.
And by the way, is that like a fantasy term now, a DGAF quarterback? Did I just coin that? Like, is that a thing now?
It would be like, what was it, your term?
Yeeters, like they just yeet it. Like
they
only
slingers,
or you can call him like a chucker, or you call him like a YOLO.
Chucker, exactly.
Yeah.
Judy's down there somewhere. One thing to add, I think there's outs even if it's not Flacco for Shedeur to just be a competent like deep ball passer, but I'm very confident they're gonna run the ball more. I mean they spent a 2nd round pick on Judkins and then a 4th round pick on Sampson, and they were like the worst at running the ball last year. Like Nick Chubb was like out of all qualifying running backs, like 2nd to last in yards after contact and like last in missed tackles forced per attempt. Like some horrible he's washed metrics. Like they could not run the ball, and I think they're gonna run the ball. They drafted Judkins.
Yeah, and don't forget, like I think Dan and I were talking this one time, like the Browns like true identity pre-Chubb injury, which again they've been kind of just like trying to figure things out post Chubb injury, like patchwork their offense together, and just literally having to huck it because they've had the two yeeters in literally Flacco and Winston, which is hilarious. If they didn't have both those quarterbacks, like we've seen, like they're not gonna throw the ball 50 times. They're like they actually want to run the ball. So like that certainly is again. It doesn't mean they're going to be like all-time low running numbers. It's just this is like the classic. All right, regression is going to come. It's just like how much, and it's just hilarious because they actually have Flacco back. So it is hard to kind of say like, all right, like they could throw it 50 times to start. It's probably not going to stay that way across 17 games. I can confidently say that.
But yeah, for me, like I'm super out on Judy. Like they won't throw as much, and if they do, Tillman like is kind of a better bet. So it's, I don't know. Yeah. He's one of my least favorite players at ADP.
Or what if you could get, Judy at tight end, but he got double the points at per reception?
So
at the same ADP. What about
he's
David
awesome,
Njoku?
Yeah, that's a good buy. Just send that.
Hey, same ADP. He gets double the points per reception. Probably gonna have the same numbers for the most part. Probably the same amount of touchdowns too, in like 3, because Njoku can't find the end zone either.
Well, yeah, obviously you need the 1.0 tight end premium. So yeah, you don't get that on underdog. But yeah, if we're talking dynasty, for sure.
0.5, 0.7, yeah, but
whatever it is.
You know what? It's funny. Like I wouldn't say I've ever had a hard fade out for Judy, but like I don't own any of them, and I don't want to own any of them. So it's like, yeah, like I'm 100% with you. I wouldn't go as far to say as like, yeah, like I don't know. I don't like think Judy's trash. His metrics are not enough to make me think that he's gonna repeat what he did. So that's the key. He's just a, if he was like going, I don't know what, even just like a round later, like I could get behind it. It's not like completely off, but again, Tillman exists and Njoku exists. There's just way more attractive bets. I'm out.
Yeah, and they have Deontay Johnson there. I mean, I know everyone's kind of just like written him off, but when his head's screwed on right, which God only knows if it is at any given moment, but I mean, he can command targets out there. So, and they draft Harold Fannin. I think that's a guy like we all 3 of us like pretty well. So yeah, suddenly there are kind of a lot of mouths to feed there. So I mean, they better have a lot of passing volume, or I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe the cream will just rise to the top. We'll see who's able to command real targets there and score fantasy points.
Did you guys see why? Was it when he was playing for Houston or Baltimore? I can't remember which one it was. I think it must have been Baltimore. Why he didn't go in the game, I guess, against Houston? Did you see the story of why he didn't go in? It's hilarious. They were like, we need you, Deontay. And this is like this is not like a report. This is literally straight from him. They wanted him in the 4th quarter to play, and he hadn't played all game. And he's like, I'm good. He said, I'm good. I'm staying right here, because he was like, this was his reasoning. It was so cold out that he's like, I don't want to put out bad film. Like I'm looking for my next contract, which clearly didn't work out like too well.
Jeez.
Not like a bullish piece of news for Deontay, but not surprising.
That's sounding very Antonio Brown-esque. Yeah, late career Antonio Brown.
Absolutely. So let's get to player comp 3 here. By the way, I feel like this has been really good, conversation, especially on the players, outlooks in general, these numbers. But like, I feel like we got those first 2 were pretty hot. I'm excited to see what Dan's is here.
Yeah, Blake, yours were definitely a lot more clever and creative than mine. Okay. So yeah, this one might be pretty obvious. We'll see. We'll see if how Jacob does on this one.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, looking at the numbers, these look like potentially the best receivers in the sample. But then I looked at like points per game, and that's clearly not going to be true. So yeah, let's take a look here. Player A has 2.22 yards per route run compared to player B's 2.35. Player A has 29.6 targets per route run percentage versus 20.6 from player B, so pretty big gap there. 13.1 points per game by player A, and player B has 11.6 points per game. 5 touchdowns for player A compared to player B's 6. We even got a little bonus age here. Player A is 23. Player B is 25. Now, if I will add this archetype-wise, maybe to help Jacob out here, looking at this, just to narrow it down a little bit for the audience as well, player A is clearly a PPR scam. Like not like saying he's bad. Like the yards per route run are lower, but he's got this like insane targets per route run, and then like a notably higher points per game, even though he has less touchdowns. So like that really narrows it down to immediately to one player for me on player A. I would be shocked if I don't have it, so I'll let Jacob.
Don't say who you think it is. Like, let's let Jacob take his guesses.
Player B, I don't know yet. So any thoughts, Jacob?
Oh, I don't. I honestly no. But I sniped 2 of the ones in the last 2, so that's all right.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't know. I think these are. I think they're. I mean, these have to be like.
These are good metrics.
Reasonably good receivers, like high yards per hour run for B and A's target rate is like this guy is a target earner.
Mhm.
I wouldn't call him a PPR scam just because if you target earn to this extent and your yards per hour runs above 2, you're also pretty good. Like Wandale's would be like
It's true.
28%, but then like 1.4 or some bullshit. So,
Right.
I
Very
don't know.
true.
I kind of want to guess Lad. I feel like he's 23, but I also feel like Lad had more than 5 touchdowns.
Definitely more points per
So
game. I would say.
I would also think, but he had like a slowish start, maybe. Um, I don't think. Man, I don't even know people's ages. I feel like Josh Downs is not that highly targeted. I don't think he did that, but he might have done that. And then player B, I don't really know.
Yeah, his numbers are too good to be Khalil
Like
Shakir.
I would guess. Yeah, I would guess like a Pickens or something for B, but that's obviously happened already. But he was
Yeah.
kind of like a lower target rate and then higher yards per out run just because he's
Right.
a deep ball boy. I don't think
This is a clear. Yeah. This is. I'm trying to look through
player
like
B
the
might be Jaden
ADP.
Reed. I don't know if his
Ooh,
yards
oh,
per
that's
out
that's
run
that's
is that
What are your-
100% it. That's 100% it.
Is
Like,
that it? Okay.
stop the count.
Alright.
That's it. Wait, yeah, because
Alright,
he's an
then
older
Jaden
I'm gonna
prospect.
need
Reed.
official guesses here,
No,
Jacob.
it's that's Jaden Reed, 100%.
My
11.6.
guess will be Jaden Reed because
Okay.
I
What about
think
player A? What about player A?
I'll guess Josh Downs and maybe
That's-
you're doing like a
That's 100% it.
Slotsy
Right.
comp.
That's 100% it. That's Josh Downs and Jaden Reed. Oh shoot.
Very,
Yeah.
very
No,
well
that
done.
was a great call on Jaden Reed because like he was completely passing my mind just because like the age. But when you said his name and I was like, yeah, oh yeah, 11.6. Like I've seen that number a few times like on the sleeper app, and then the elite metrics. I'm like, yeah, that makes too much sense. That was a great call. And yeah, Josh Downs. Yeah, I mean, extremely
He really
high.
hit 29%.
Yeah, I was
thought it
surprised by that,
25
too.
or
Here's
something.
why though: his route participation. Well, his route participation isn't like so low, but he's just like not out there when they're like, you know what I mean? Like he's like out there for a
Yeah.
limited amount of play on like the
He's not
the
there when they run.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, you know, I guess that's like filtered out on the targets per route run, but
Yeah.
like still, it's just like when he's on the field, like he's getting targeted. But it's a funny thing. It's the same thing for both these guys. When they're on the field, like we need to get these guys on the field more. You know,
Yeah.
both of them. They're both these like clear slot players, though they are, you know, they make their money in different fashions of like, you know, Jaden Reed's like efficiency per like target, like points, fantasy points per target, where like Jaden Reed just like, dude, he just soaks them up like crazy, or Josh Downs does. So pretty interesting comp. Like I still thought that was
Yeah.
really fun.
That was cool.
Yeah, so
And
what,
by the
what
way,
motivated me to choose these two particular players, at least on short notice, didn't have a ton of time to think of something too clever. But Jacob and I can't remember which league it was in, but semi recently, we found ourselves kind of arguing in the league chat about like Jaden Reed. Like Jacob said something, you know, derogatory about him, saying like he wasn't very good or whatever. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. And then I start throwing some metrics out at him, saying like, wait, wasn't he, you know, first in this and like really good in that? And Jacob's, you know, kind of dismissing, you know, the metrics, whatever I said. I'm like, you know what? Like I might have to revisit this. So like I figured, let me definitely choose Jaden Reed for one. And then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I got to choose someone that Jacob probably likes, that probably has really good metrics. And then I'll prove that Jaden Reed and this guy look really similar, and Jaden Reed really isn't all that bad. So, yeah, what do you think now, Jacob? Does your opinion
Yeah.
change at all?
Well-
Did it surprise you how not too far off they are?
I mean, okay, well, a couple things. So one, I hate that Jaden Reed's yards per out run are kind of good. I really want to write him off, and I hate
I
I
told
hate
you,
that he
I told you they
randomly-
were pretty good.
But I will say, in that conversation, my response to your claim that his rookie year was kind of good was that it was actually for various reasons I don't talk to him anymore, unfortunately. But I had a dynasty friend like a year ago, and he did a study, and I confirmed it. Like I decided to confirm it too. But his rookie year, there were like 5 games. which is a low sample size, where all of Watson, Wicks, Dubs, and Jaden Reed played. And
Yeah,
in those
that's right.
4 or 5 games, Jaden Reed's yards per hour run between them were like third or fourth, and his targets per hour run were fourth. And so
Right.
that made me go, all right, yeah, like I'm definitely writing him off probably at ADP. Wicks is my favorite because Wicks was first and second, and he goes like 5 rounds later in Dynasty. So that was what his yards per his splits on the rookie year were pretty good, but like that year, like Watson missed like 4 games.
They were like
missed,
they were never
4.
out there at the
Wicks,
same
like,
time.
Didn't even really play the first half of it. Like there's all
Yeah.
sorts of, huh?
Oh, sorry. I think we're.
Yeah, but yeah, there was all sorts of injuries and not a lot of overlap.
I think we're delayed here. Hold on. Something cut out. We might have to just restart
Oh,
the
really?
Zoom call real quick. I'm gonna end it real quick.
Oh, okay.
All right, hang in there, fellas. Something happened with the Zoom. Gonna fire it back up real quick. Get him back in here. If you're listening, you're confused, yeah, just cut out. There we go. We're coming back. Yeah, I was like so delayed. It was crazy.
Oh.
I was like cutting you off and I didn't realize. Yeah.
Good now.
Yeah, we're good to go. And yeah, that was a good point. Like that was certainly a thing. Like going into Jaden Reed's second year is that whole the combo of the 4 never, like they played a couple games together, and like you said, the numbers were diminished. And again, projecting everyone was healthy into the next season. It was a legitimate point.
Yeah, and I remember discussing that a lot last offseason because, I don't know, every offseason we inevitably find ourselves discussing a lot of Jaden Reed. He's just sort of an interesting wide receiver. I remember...
Sorry to cut you off. You can continue going.
I was just saying, yeah. I remember saying... I was comparing it to the situation with Amon-Ra St. Brown his rookie season, and I just remember how everyone was like making excuses of why he was so productive, that TJ Hawkinson and DeAndre Swift were both injured when St. Brown had his breakout. But, I'm just more the type where I don't want to like overanalyze production too much. I mean, I'm not saying that it was like bad process to look at the games where like all those Packers receivers play together, but I'm also just willing to believe what my eye sees sometimes. And I think more often than not, when a player produces, especially when it's a rookie wide receiver with pretty good profile and draft capital, and he looks good out there on the field, and it happened in the second half of the rookie season where that's the part of the rookie season you'd expect a breakout to happen anyway. So, we don't know that it wouldn't have happened regardless of whoever was out there. So I was just inclined to like not overthink it and just say, hey, you know what? I've heard this argument before about St. Brown. I wasn't buying it for him. That paid off. I'm going to buy Jaden Reed as well. But it's certainly an interesting discussion there.
To get into that really quick, I mean, this is why I don't ever really want to use my eye test because it's subjective. But like when you watch Jaden Reed, he literally looks like
he's one of those players that
like, he's awesome,
dude. Yeah,
like, he's really awesome when you watch him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the metrics when they all played together were mid. I will say for your Amon-Ra thing, I would not have been I was not one of those people. Like Amon-Ra's rookie year metrics were way better.
I was about to bring that up. I was about to say I don't know. Like, I bet you
they were top 10 target rate, yards per out run. Like they were good.
I bet you if you split their prime of like you split the clear breakout for Reed and Amon-Ra, like when that happened for each of them. And actually Reed was like pretty productive like out the gate, by the way, his rookie season. But if you split that, like I was about to mention like Amon-Ra's numbers, I guarantee were like legit like top 5. Like I mean it was like Linsanity numbers.
They were way better.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, like even with Hawk out or Swift out or whatever, like if this guy did this,
it would be like it would be kind of like I don't know, like just it's hard. It would be like if imagine that was like Rashee Rice's like rookie year, but like in a different world we're like, all right, like it somehow aligned more with like this Amon-Ra thing we're trying to compare it to, where it was like, okay, like I don't know, it doesn't like work because like he's hurt, but like the Rashee Rice numbers are like insane, right? But we only saw 3 games. It would be like, I don't know, like
in the second season, Rice's second season.
Yeah, exactly, in the second season. So like those, like I know it doesn't line at all, like once the second season, but the point is like those numbers were like legit insane. Whereas like I think like the point I guess is like Jaden Reed's numbers were really solid, but they weren't like, all right, like this dude's like legit, like you have to draft this player. But again, the ADP in the pricing is completely different as well, so that's a whole other thing.
By the way, and feel free to block any of these by the ways because I always have shit to
we
say.
Always do.
But I'm super confident in Rice at Dynasty ADP. I mean, like he might be cooked from the injury, like I have no idea, but I'm assuming he's not, and the buzz is good. But it's not a 3-game sample size. It's since week 8 his rookie year.
Yeah.
Like whenever that was, like from week 8 till the end of his rookie year, he was like the wide receiver 8. He was top 10 in both targets and yards per out run. And then in his 3 games last year, he was top 5 in both. So
exactly.
I think he's just awesome. Like he's just a guy. He should I don't know, like I get the vibes and the injury weirdness, but like he probably should be going ahead of Ladd. Just because Ladd splits aren't as good, and they do the same thing.
Interesting.
But I don't know. Like Rice is also more yak dependent, and he has the knee injury. Yeah. Like I have no idea. But and I'm taking Ladd over Rice just because that's what market says.
That's exactly. Hey,
but like, kinda he should be over, but whatever.
I'll chime in real quick on that because I've completely 180'd, and I'll explain why. Originally, I thought it was the PCL. Injury, which like, all right, you're cooked next season if you get that injury. Basically, like from what I've seen, the players that came back, that's just not the injury. It was really easy to think that, and that's I think what a lot of people still think that injury was. And then all of a sudden, I just like randomly saw like a tweet that was like PLC, and I'm like, what's a PLC? Like, is that the same thing? Is that a typo? And then, anyways, Dan's father is a doctor, and I also have seen other Twitter doctors say the same thing. It's not at all the same thing. It's actually like not a worry at all, basically. Right? Is that correct, Dan?
Yeah, I talked to my dad about it because I consulted him right before I don't know if it was right before I drafted Rice in the break room. But yeah, I was about to acquire a Rice share, and so like I better check with Dr. Fortune here. Yeah. And so yeah, my dad just basically said that the injury is a non-issue. He should be 100% this season. It shouldn't affect his game like whatsoever. So he just said, my dad said he has zero concern about it.
Yeah, which was complete news because I was just like, no, I don't want anything to do with Rice. Like he's extremely expensive. Just assuming he's going to come back to full form. I thought it was PCL. Then all of a sudden it's like, all right, it's PLC. Get more information. I'm like warming up to it, and then all of a sudden like one day it just snapped, like, wait, what am I doing? I gotta, Dan was like, kept mentioning it. I'm like, yeah, one day I was just like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm in. I'm in. So I've got a couple since, and one, I think you'll like this one, Jacob. Though it wasn't like a huge return, but like you just mentioned he should be going over Ladd. I think he should be going over JSN easily. Though, like, I don't know if it's like easily, but like the gap should be like beside each other because obviously JSN, it all adds up. When you are a classic dynasty manager, you just look at the profile. You're like, he's younger, better capital, all that. Didn't get hurt.
And yeah, he's not coming off an injury. He doesn't have a suspension looming at some point. Although
it's hard to.
That made me buy into Rice was hearing that he is unlikely to be suspended this season. Yeah. That if the suspension happens, it would likely be in 26.
Yeah, and that was another big one when I realized, like, this suspension's probably not going to happen even before that report. Like, that's what really, it was like, okay, no injury concern, no suspension. That was my concern. I'm back in. I traded JSN for Rice plus the 207 I got, which I turned into Ridley and Eckler.
That's a win. Yeah.
So, because I was just feeling the same way. I'm like, Rice could so easily outscore and probably will outscore JSN as long as there's just none of these injury concern stuff. Again, JSN's numbers, he would have been a good blind comp guy. It would have been a layup for you, though, because his numbers just, like, were not... His splits were, like, terrible.
Another by the way. He is. I have decided I am
Yeah.
out on him at price. So I am happy to have sold
Yeah,
him in the
I'm with you.
listener league. I have one other share that I don't know. I'm trying to sell, but at price, by the way. Like if he
Yeah,
goes,
yeah.
like if his consensus was like 10 starter picks later, like fine. But
That's
like
yeah. It's a big gap though, right? Like he is
yeah, for
legit
sure,
on
yeah.
that 2-3 turn, and then he's normally the behind Marv and stuff. But I mean, it's basically the exact same price, and it's not that he's a bad player. It's just like, dude, that's a lot of investment. That's a top 30 pick, if not higher, right? Like sometimes he's like pick 27. But sometimes he's probably going 212 or something. He's got to
He
be a
might be
dude.
kind of bad, actually. He might. I think he might be kind of bad. Like I think he might not
JSN?
actually. Yeah, I think he
Maybe
might
bad
be.
to like what this price. You mean I'm just like
Bad first
Yeah,
price
like
is bad and bad at what exactly?
oh, I mean, well, he's being discussed like this guy is a legit one on the
like
team.
he's not going further than much further than Nico Collins. Like he's not. Is that what you're saying? He's not like
Yeah, I think no chance. Like,
Yeah.
I actually I don't really have a great comp off the top of my head. Maybe like I don't know. Like he could be like Jags Calvin Ridley for fantasy or something. Like I don't know. Like the splits just aren't not they're just really not there. And he had a whole year now in like a pretty good system and situation, and he had DK, who's I guess target comp, but DK should not be target comp if you're an alpha. If you're an alpha, you should be out targeting DK. And he was supposedly slot boosted, and he had a good quarterback and a good scheme, and he was not top 40 in target rated yards per out run, and
Yeah.
he was the wide receiver 10 or something or 9, I don't remember, but
In a
like
down year.
they had like
Yeah,
a really
he
high
didn't
pass
even-
volume offense.
he didn't even hit 15 points per game, by the way.
Yeah,
which is
oh,
like-
interesting. Okay.
It was a down year for receivers, and I believe he played like all 17 games, so
Yeah.
it kind of boosted up the
Yeah.
final for
Yeah.
where wide receiver or whatever he was.
But yeah, like he was in a pretty high pass volume offense, and so it saved his year. But like, I mean, if it was like a league average pass volume offense, like he's like a mid low 2, and now it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's many outs to go wrong. Now it's Darnold. They might waste a year with Milrow, who might end up
I would say if
sucking.
Milrow gets in
Like-
there, like that is not good for any pass catcher there.
On top of that, there's one weird thing I don't know how to evaluate, but like him also now being the X because Cup is there weirds me out. He's never played
Yeah.
X before ever.
Actually, his
Last
numbers
year, though-
were better. Yeah, his numbers
when he
were
played
better.
when he played last year in the 2 games, they were good. Like he
Yeah.
had like 4 yards per hour run or something.
Okay.
But like it's not a big enough sample to make me
Yeah.
want to go yeah. So I'm pretty off him at
Yeah, I like.
value.
I think the key is like for me, this is this classic one where it's like I'm looking at the price. I'm like, yeah, JSN, he's a good receiver. He's probably a great receiver just overall, right? Like he's one of the better receivers in the league. Young, it makes sense. He's getting his respect. I'm looking at everything you just laid out, and I'm just going. You can get Chris Olave in around whatever 5-6 turn. You can get the cluster of receivers, wide receiver 7. It's like, dude, probably half these guys are getting really close, if not outscoring JSN in a coming up in this next season. I give really good arguments again for all those players, and
How about like Devonta Smith and like round 5, 6, like wherever
Yeah,
he goes.
and you
He's
can
only, like,
argue-
26.
yeah, you could argue the age stuff, but at the same time, like are they 30? Like I just.
Right.
It's one thing to consider the age. It's awesome, but like, I think the key for JSN is like I'm having a hard time seeing how he goes up. If you can't go up and you're at that price range,
Yeah,
and I don't think you're gonna like be over 15 points per game. Like you're not gonna be like a true difference maker type player. Like how
Yeah,
can
I
I
think,
invest
like,
in you?
What comes to mind for me is I just mentioned Devonta Smith. Like where was Devonta Smith ranked in Dynasty at his peak? It was probably like after I think year 2 when he kind of had that like breakout
Yeah.
season.
It's round 3.
And so I could see that for JSN. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, and
Yeah.
he keeps. He has like takes another step in year 3, and then he's just like this elite receiver. But it seems like the more likely outcome might just be where he just kind of gradually goes down in value, and you never really got like an elite difference maker in your fantasy lineup, and you're just kind of buying that.
You're just buying the youth.
And he's done.
Yeah, you're just like buying into like, yeah, he's young, he's a great asset, and it's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. He could surprise us again. Maybe he's just really good X receiver and he's gonna be close to that 4 yards per route run. It's not definitive. I don't. He's just such a classic. Like he's like a whatever. I don't know. He's just like a sell right now. And again, that's what I did with my share. And then it's like, yeah, it doesn't mean you have to be out on him all the time. If the market realizes like everything we're saying right now, and maybe he gets an injury, like dude, we can be back in, but like at the cost he should be, right? So I think that's a key on JSN for me at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Smith's splits whenever he was peak were better. So that's also.
I would say his season was nuts.
But yeah, he might end up. JSN could end up being good. Like he could be an awesome X. Like he might be Ayuk and do it great. Like I have no idea. One funny thing though, because these are all the receivers I drafted because I drafted all the receivers I possibly could in the listener league. But my board, I was very much Rice, and then like half a tier below, like the next group, and I was trying to figure out who to pick in the next group. But I took Wilson and JSN before Rice because I knew if I wanted to sell Wilson or JSN, and somebody was like, "Well, you took them after Rice," so I just didn't. I didn't do it because of that, which is so dumb.
No, it's not.
That is why I picked them in that order.
Here's the well, actually, that's right. That's right. You had the 3 in a row. Yeah, that's smart because I was gonna say you had to pick them because like they would have went, but you actually did have 3 straight picks. So that is really smart because you have to do that. Otherwise, they 100% would have said that.
Yeah.
So I took JSN first because I was like, or Wilson first because I was like, this is if I do need to sell one of these guys who I'm not as crazy on at ADP as I am in Rice. I need to like pretend like I took them earlier or something.
That's 100% the right call. Yeah, I mean I do the same stuff where it's not like you're not like what's it called? You're not like being some con artist. It's just like, dude, I obviously am not gonna like show my hand and be like, I think like Rashid Rice and JSN are the same or something, because then someone's gonna ask for that price and like, no, I want to sell them at market value.
Absolutely, yeah.
I was
very happy I got 10.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I did that exact
thing.
thing. I did that exact thing in the listener with Jacob when making a trade with him for Woody Marks. I'm like, well, you got this guy at the 412, like why do you want? I forget what you're asking for. I like 26 early projected.
Yeah, I wanted my third. I wanted
my
third.
At the 412, and you're like, oh, but normally it goes, round 3. So that whole, you knew that argument.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I had to say it, and then I knew what you were gonna say back, but we still had to say it.
You gotta try. I fully agree.
I gotta try.
Yeah, gotta respect the strat. But yeah, that's a great point for anyone like, and that's the thing too. Like just for me in general, like how I play, and sometimes it can like limit you and like, it can. For example, it's been like for specifically RJ Harvey, it's been really hard to get an RJ Harvey and even a Buka where like, especially like a Buka, like I really 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 like him, but the way I've been building teams, it's been hard to pick him. And it's just like in rookie drafts, if I want him, the way it's been adding up, I would have had to like take him at the top, like right after the 107 tier. And it's like, that's not how I want to acquire my Buka shares. I want to get in half the drafts, he's going at the 112. I want to get him in one of those leagues, right? And it just like hasn't added up. And it's like, I'm just like not going to be the dude when I'm in a bunch of leagues to be like, 108, I'm smashing Buka. I can't do that.
I'm
pretty high on Ibuka.
With your process, you'd rather go to the end of the tier and let everyone else choose for you, which I respect.
Which like, but that's the funny thing is like, I want to get some Ibuka, but like, because that's my strategy, like I'm not getting Ibuka, so it's like, it just hasn't worked out that way.
You got unlucky, basically.
Like pretty much, yeah. It like because a couple times he's won like a pick before, and it's like man, like shoot, but. It's kind of like what you're saying with this, like, JSN. Imagine you didn't have those picks, but you're like, dude, Rice is better. It's like, but, like, you have to pick JSN, because if you want Rice and JSN, like, you can't pick Rice first. You gotta, so, yeah. I mean, I'm always a big, like, I'm, like, doing the probabilities in my head of, like, I always want to get, like, when I have two picks, like, I want to get, like, two of these 4 guys or something. I'm like, I have to pick them in this order. I got, even if I like the one guy better, I gotta do it. I gotta risk it.
Well, you know what I want to ask Jacob? If you were in that situation where instead of having the 3 picks in a row, let's say you just had 1 pick and you had to like basically choose between those 3 receivers, would you and let's say you're pretty sure like all three of them
You
will be
can't
gone
trade out.
and let's say you can't trade up
Yeah,
for
you
whatever
have to
reason.
make your pick.
Yeah. Would you have
Yeah,
would you have just chosen Rice and just say this is the guy I most believe in? Or would you have just chosen the guy who you think has the most market value? Let's say it's Garrett Wilson, and then after you make the pick, you can start shopping Garrett Wilson for a pick on the clock where Rice is still available, plus something extra on top, and just get some free value that way.
Well, okay. Well, I think technically the question's a little inconsistent because you said I can't trade out.
But now you can.
If I could trade out, I would do that.
Yeah.
But with the assumption I can't ever trade out, and this is what it is, yeah, I would just take Rice and get roasted, and then be right in like 4 weeks into the season.
Well, how about let's try to make it a real situation. Let's say you're going to try to trade up, let's say a few picks later and still get Rice and get both of them. But you're on the clock. No one's sending you any offers. Maybe you send some out and they're declined. So you're forced to make the pick. Like, what are you doing? Do you take Rice just in case you're not able to trade up later and also get him? Or would you just take the highest valued player and then start doing shopping and hope you can turn Wilson into Rice plus? Like, what would you do in a real situation?
I kind of believe enough in him being a half tier higher than everybody else that I would just take him, and I don't really want to risk. Yeah. I don't really want to risk sort of the dangling and
that game. Okay.
Yeah.
When it is,
his splits are literally Amon Ra. Like that is what he is, and he's with
which is why I brought him up in the Amon Ra one, because like I think that's a really good comp. Like if you want to find the next Amon Ra, even though it like technically it's gonna be year 3. It's like we've seen the the whole season. Thanks Mahomes went away for Rice there, but
he is that guy. I hope he's not randomly cooked or his yak is actually unsustainable. Like that would really suck. But he has everything going for him, so I would just take him.
But by the way, we took him at 312. Hey Matt, hey and I, and we were just like praying. We're like, please, we want to trade up, but we're looking at the board and the sleeper ADP with the rookies in, he was like the 10th on the list, and we're like, okay, we're good. We can just kind of like sit here. Ended up getting him, but I agree. There are like a few players on the board where it's like I'm completely fine just like taking them over another player, and like one of those guys for me is like, again, within reason because I already think they're underpriced, is like CMC when he's in like the late and mid 6. Like if I gotta take a couple picks earlier, the way I'm playing this offseason, give me I'll reach on him a couple picks kind of thing. There's a couple other guys, but I don't want to do that unless I'm like really confident in the bet or the player, which I'm sure is aligning with you
for sure. Yeah. Also, oh my gosh, trading up to get the 4 picks in a row was so stressful because I could not decide. Yeah, I got 4. I did. I think Wilson, JSN, Rice, and then like the 102.
Okay.
Which I ended up selling to get like Lawrence in a second or something.
Yeah, Blake, do you want to pull up the draft board just so our viewers have something to look at maybe?
Yeah.
But I was really like, I want Rice, but like I know that I really I'm a believer in this tier of receiver at value in comparison. Also, I mean, I know we wanted to discuss receivers, and we will because I took them all. But I sort of made the opinion that it's start 11, which just fundamentally means all skill positions are more valuable because there's an extra skill position flex. So I was sort of making the call okay, in the third, all these receivers clear all the quarterbacks here. Like all these receivers are over Kyler Murray and Jordan Love or whatever. So I was really trying to get in. And it ended up working out, which was cool.
Oh yeah, Jacob, you and I definitely had not exact same strategy because you took it to an extreme with you were doing like the 1-year punt. So if you were taking like a receiver at like every single pick there for a while, I can't remember how many it was in a row exactly, but I've never seen anything quite like it. So I respect your conviction and boldness to go with that strategy. I was basically just going with a more reasonable version of it where I was still hoping to contend year 1, but I mean I didn't have an exact plan in mind. I was kind of just taking best player available with each pick, but I could quickly see based on how the early picks were going for me that this is probably going to be a 0 running back build. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you had the. Well, I mean, I am the example of being biased towards this type of build, but so I
Right.
would say this about anybody, but I thought you had the correct version of the build. Like, you should go receiver heavy, and you should try to barely scraps by the rest of your starting lineup. Like, that is, I
Right.
think, the way to do it.
Yeah, because I just hate to just not compete and just donate to the league pot if I don't have to. Like if I have a chance of
Yeah.
competing, like I want to try to do that. But
Yeah,
It-
I'm fine with it. It's like 25 or $30 or whatever.
yeah, it's a low
Like,
buy-in,
okay.
so it's not that big of a deal. But still, it's not the buy-in. It's more just like, hey, like I want a chance to win like $460 or whatever the prize is.
You know what? Like, I think my biggest selling point, like, just because, like, I think I did so many startups like that, Jacob, and I like it is like it'll work. It'll be awesome. Like, you'll have a sick team.
Yeah, like it will work in the future.
Yeah.
But I was like, my selling point is I'm like, I can just like I can figure it out. Like, I don't need to like for myself. It's like I can just like make the right moves at the right times, and just like I can construct the rest of the startup to like I'll be fine. I'll be fine value wise. I might even be the exact same, and and I get the extra year, and I don't have to worry about like I don't know flipping the roster completely next year and like trying to get all the quarterback. So like for me, it's like yeah, it just like makes sense. Like I think I can figure it out. It might not work 100%. Like you might be actually losing out about if you get unlucky, a lot of value.
And you know what else you can do is like once I mean this might even like sound kind of arrogant, but like once you get good enough at Dynasty, you can afford sometimes to do something that maybe like isn't the best process, or maybe you're throwing away just a small amount of value or something, or oh maybe I'm like losing this trade slightly, but it's like you know what I'm good enough at Dynasty that I can make up for this later, and I'd rather just like have a chance to compete and win money now, and like I'll find a way to make up for it in another way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess another thing. So, I am clearly a psycho. But like, I will say, um, like the decision to tank was not made till like round 6 or something.
Oh really?
And
Okay.
and I was, but like
I thought you were
always-
contending the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I put a pin in what I was saying, but I had I had this really hilarious trade discussion with Dan, during the startup, and
Okay.
he wanted my second in some deal, which was super reasonable for a generic second, and I was like, dude, my second's a 201, and Dan was like,
Oh, yeah.
no, it's not, like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna believe you, like that's crazy. I was like, no, dude, like that is what's happening. I'm not even gonna give it to you. I am
Yeah.
tanking, and I could just tell Dan was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
process. I'm like, what? Like, because I thought at that point, I can't remember exactly what round it was, but I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, you got such a sick draft. Like, why on earth would you not
That's-
compete? Like, you're gonna
Yeah.
destroy everyone at like all your flex spots. You're loaded with all these amazing receivers. Like, are you nuts? You know?
Exactly my thoughts of like, dude, especially like this draft, and that's why I was saying in the startup video, it's like I would have went into the complete other direction because like, dude, there's no way like Dak's ever making it to 6'9" again or whatever it was. Like that's a crazy value. Penix like mid 5th is a good value. Goff and stuff. So I was like the opportunities like you kind of had the picks there like we're trading around. Like for me, kind of regardless of like the player take, I'm just like piecing the team together like that.
For sure. So, okay, so the reason I said the decision to tank was like round 6 was because I had the 609 pick, and
Yeah.
I just knew I was like I'm gonna take Bryce here, but
Okay.
then I was like I'm really bullish. Well, I'm bullish on Olave. We could talk about it if
Yeah.
you want, and I'm really bullish on Colston Loveland. I think he's
Okay.
completely elite, and I was like I need to get both. So I tried to move up, and I really tried hard to move up from my 7-11, which I knew was going to be Waddle because I just know the discourse in this group of people that he sucks or whatever. And so I tried hard to move up from 7-11, and I just couldn't do it. And so I moved up from 609, hoping I could sneak at least from 7-11 to the end of the 6th maybe and get a quarterback. And I just couldn't. I hit up every
Yeah.
team, and there was nothing. And so then Dak, Bryce, Penix, or whatever went, and I was like, all right, now I'm tanking for sure.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But I will say the reason it always goes receiver for me is just because I always think they're BPA. Like I'm on the board in round 5, and I'm like, okay, like Chris Olave in real life is talented enough to literally be a wide receiver 1 for 5 years. Like I'm gonna take him or like Derrick Henry, who's like a year of greatness.
Yeah.
Like no, like but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
at every round there's like a cost like that, and I'm just
Yeah.
always like the receiver's obviously the pick, and
Yeah.
I always end up doing it, and I always end up getting stuck with too much,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's usually how it
That
goes.
that's like this. Let's transition this into the receiver conversation because that's where like yeah. I mean, I'll leave this draft board up for now. Like, there's an opportunity cost to taking the win now play like Derrick Henry, and not too far after Derrick Henry, there's like one of my favorite guys this offseason. I took him before I even wanted to, just because I knew he was gonna go the next pick. It's Christian McCaffrey, and it's like, dude, Smitty, like that's hard to take CMC over Smitty, who like I have quite a few shares
Yeah.
of. Like I think he's really good, but then it goes into this like my logic of thinking where it's like, dude, there are other good running backs on the board and stuff, but like there's one CMC, and if I believe he's gonna be CMC as long as he's not hurt, like dude, this is a smash. And he's like far younger than a Derrick Henry, which I think it's like ridiculous as ADP. Like that's how I talk myself in. That's how I've changed because I've always been that guy, Jacob, where I'm just taking the stud receiver. But then, yeah, I'm looking down the board and maybe the receivers have changed year over year. But man, there's so many good ones, and there's a little bit of like everything in each round. There's like, oh, you want Devontae Adams around 9, or you want Josh Downs? Like completely different like profiles. Like there's a little bit of everything in like every round. It feels like that you can get really flexible passing on the young talented receiver because there's just like the next one that feels really similar.
For sure. But yeah, if I could have gotten in for Bryce, which I was really expecting to, I was really surprised. I could not move up 12 spots with anybody, but everyone made the calculation. I don't want Waddle, so whatever, I'll take him. But if I did Bryce, then I was gonna go okay. Like, I have like an 8th round pick, or I. So actually, I mean, I didn't have the board up, and it's kind of hard for me on my computer. It's lagging, so I'm not gonna be able to look at the board too hard. But I had two 10th round picks.
Oh yeah, can you guys not see that?
No, I can't see the board.
Oh my bad. I thought you guys had been able to see this whole time.
I mean, it's cool. But I had two 10th round picks, and so the plan was like, all right, like I'll tap Geno there. He actually went 1 pick before me, so I guess tanking worked out. But my plan was like, okay, I'll tap Geno. I'll hit like a James Conner and
I like that.
Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason randomness, and I will compete. But then I couldn't get in for the quarterback, and I was just like, okay.
Now let me bring up an alternate scenario, just because that one didn't work out. But what if you got a potentially more productive quarterback that year, like in this? What if you could go back and then you probably have already thought this through, but like, what's the confidence level on Justin Fields? Because like, we really don't know the future for his NFL starting.
I thought so. I mean, I know there's takes, and the later down the board and the more weird the profile is, the more speculative our takes get. But I'm of the opinion he is just a high-end win-now asset, like Derrick Henry or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really treating him as he is a one-year starter who will be a QB1, and he has like a 20% chance to start next year. And so I don't really want to ride him, like, unless like my team is going to be nice.
Here's my question for you, though, right? Like, so you were trying to like piece together the team. You're looking for an out, but it's like, all right. You had to pick two before me where I took Fields at 8-9. I didn't even plan on taking him. I was just like, all right, like I'll take Fields and figure it out, around this.
Your team's elite this year, so like Fields on your team is like an excellent situation. Like you just had you have your cheap QB1, like you're good.
Yeah, here's my question, because this is how I've kind of shifted maybe from that outlook, because I think I would have done the exact same thing, by the way, like when I first started playing. So like that's where I'm like, I think it's an interesting conversation of like, Is it go through your mind at all where you're like, all right, like I can still piece together a team with Fields at a cheaper price than I was going to be Young. Like odds are he's going to outscore Young or these other quarterbacks that are going ahead of him. And here's the thing, if he's doing that, like people just get completely blinded regardless of how good he's playing in real life. Ultimately, like he's probably going to be worth more than like a lot of these quarterbacks ahead of or like the same amount or whatever. You could flip the cold one for Fields. And it's like, do you consider that at all? Like, does that matter to you, or are you just like not that confident that Fields is going to be like, elite redraft pick?
I'm super confident he's going to be an elite redraft pick. Like he is like a redraft target of mine. Like I'm very weight quarterback this year. Mm-hmm. Take them in round 11 or 12. Like Dak should throw 45 times a game because they're best running back is like 5'3" and 100 pounds. But like, you know, like Fields in the 8th round, I wasn't really comfortable with just because I think he's just of this year. Like, I would take Fields in the 8th round if my draft was like pretty win now and chillin', and yours was, and you somehow had a bunch of firsts, dick. But complimentary, of course. But yeah, so he was not someone I was like trying to take as my quarterback one with the team. If he made it, I mean, I don't know.
If it was a start 10 or even like a start 9, if it was like not such a deep start 11, would that change your opinion where Fields is comprising a higher percentage of your weekly fantasy points?
It definitely would.
Okay.
My draft would have been different though. I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I would have appropriately spammed receivers. Not.
Right.
I wouldn't have this many.
Because you can start like what 7 and you're up to like with the super flex. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, 2 receivers, 4 flex spot is 6, and then if you put one in the super flex, that'd be 7. So 6 or 7, you can.
Yeah, so I that's why I was so like I'm just gonna do it. But like if it was start 9 or something even like. I would have one of my 3rd round picks just would have been a quarterback.
I see.
Easily.
But by the way, the chat here. Sorry, I just want to acknowledge chat. Shane Drennan, first time chatter, joined in, and you asked why the kickers went so high. And if you're not familiar,
points per extra point.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, this is like a dynasty startup, but like the kickers were placeholders for rookie picks. So if you took the first kicker, you had the rookie 101 Genty, the second, the 102, so on and so forth. That's why kickers were going so early. You can just imagine them as actual rookie players.
And I just wanted to make one point in response to what Jacob was talking about in terms of how spamming receiver led to him kind of going into more of a rebuild mode. Although I guess it was not getting Bryce Young that was sort of like the real tipping point.
Which sucked. I really thought.
I mean, it seems like the listener league's pretty smart because like I've always felt like I was the only person that liked Bryce Young. Still, it seems like no one's very high on him. And then Jacob, you like him. I know like Randy's really high on him. And we just drafted. Actually Bryce Young and Justin Fields to be our 2 starting quarterbacks in this startup draft that we have going on right now, the one where we're co-managing against Blake and Matt have the other team they're co-managing. And basically, I mean, we have the way the board's fallen to us, we've done, it's pretty much been very similar to my draft.
The quarterbacks.
Yeah, except I guess the one exception is we did take Ashton Genty because he felt like the 205, which we didn't expect. So we were thrilled about that. So it's kind of like a hero running back build, but pretty similar to 0 running back. And we've just been like spamming receivers, so we already have like 5 of them. And even if we end up, having to take a receiver like with our next pick and maybe the pick after that, where all of a sudden now we have like 7 really good receivers, but like we have like no RB2 and like no tight end. I mean, we're still probably going to look to compete because the way we're looking at it, and you can tell me how you feel about this, Jacob, but kind of the way we're approaching the startup that we're doing together is we're kind of just like drafting the best trade pieces. And the easiest thing to trade in Dynasty is a wide receiver. Like what team in your league like doesn't want a good receiver or especially a good young receiver? Like, like does anyone want Malik Neighbors? Like, 12 hands go up. Everyone wants Malik Neighbors, so he's pretty easy to move. So that's kind of been our approach, that if we come out with, no running backs or we're missing one, RB2 or missing a tight end, we can just trade our excess receivers for those holes. And as long as we get that by week 1, we should be good to contend. So that's kind of how I approached it in the listener league, and that's how I'm approaching it in this other startup I'm doing now with Randy.
I think that's the way to do it. For sure. I mean, receivers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One last thing about this like Fields thing, and again, I'm just curious to like your outlook on it, because this is something that's shifted for me in the offseason when vets and these Devontae Adams, stuff like that, like they're going to the right spot because like how are you going to take him over these young like talented players? But like in the heat of the season, like remember like Cooper Kupp week 1 last season, what was it, like 18 target, dude, like try to trade for Cooper Kupp at 31 years old after week 1, it was impossible. You couldn't do it. And so like I just felt like I was like, let me like learn something from this. Like let me like Beats is like fine investing in like the uncertainty of like the age. So like to me, like that's Justin Fields, is this uncertainty of like, yeah, it's a good point. It's a great point. He's not even like a good NFL quarterback, but like it just doesn't matter as long as he's starting. That's literally all that matters, and he's running. And so like I guess the one thing is like if he's scoring hella fantasy points, nobody really cares about his like future outlook. They want to win a championship. So like his if he's like you say going to be a smash redraft pick, like his dynasty value will follow because we're just playing like alternate, redraft is like what dynasty is in season. So
right.
like that would be like that's like my pro Justin Fields even as high as like round 7. I think you can justify it like as a even not as a contending team if you wanted to like half go in and like flip them. Like how is someone gonna like reject a QB6 or higher Fields in season?
Yeah, I think that is a good take. So 2 years ago, I don't know if Andrew's still around, maybe not, but 2 years ago, oh God, what was it? Going into the year, Fields was off a compelling rookie year, and he was like a first-round starter pick, and Andrew took him, and I thought he was good. And then like 3 games into the season, because I'm friends with him, I was like, dude, this is a sell, because his splits all over the field were horrible. He led the league in like running back dump-offs. Like clearly this guy couldn't throw, and I was like, you need to sell him. And he ended up getting like Kyler Murray or something awesome. But like, it would be like that for me. Like I am confident he will score fantasy points, but if he is scoring them because he is dumping it off 8 times a game to Breece Hall, and then he's like running 12 times after dancing around.
That's how he's going to do it.
Getting a lot.
That's the thing. That is how he's going to do it.
So I agree. I think that is how he's going to do it, and he's someone I want to redraft, but like that is not an IRL good quarterback, and I don't
agreed, I agree, but people don't care about that, like when they're they want to win a championship. So like that's the funny thing is like I see your I see your site of like like at Dynasty. Here's the thing, actually, I don't know if you know his contract. Like he's pretty much guaranteed to be on that team. The way his contract, like it's gonna be, and then here's the only way that he's not is if like he earns a top pick for another quarterback. Like his contract is like legit structured to be likely the starting quarterback.
Just 2 years. I thought it was
they cannot get rid of him. Like it just makes no sense to get.
Yeah, it's 2 years.
Yeah, I forget the exact.
I feel like you can feel pretty good about Fields being the starter for the next 2 years. I mean, not that you can like guarantee it for next year. I mean, if the Jets are really bad, sure, they could draft a QB, and then maybe it's a situation where Fields is entering the 2026 season as the starter, and then at some point they bench him for the young guy to come in there. Like I think you can at least like count on him.
Week one in 2026, like there's a very good chance he's a starter unless he's like actually atrocious and earns them like one of the a top 5 pick or whatever. Like I forget exactly what the details were about the contract, but like if you like I don't know, like if you look it up, like there's like it just makes no sense for them to like move on the way it's constructed.
I don't know about all that. I will say though, like I am making the read he's not the starter next year. And if he is, he clearly has smashed where you took him in the startup. So if that's something you think will happen, I totally get the process.
I'm not even I wouldn't even argue with
you. I also think there's some other hidden upside with Justin Fields that I never even hear talked about because it doesn't seem like we're acknowledging the possibility even of this. But what about and I don't know what percentage chance you want to put on it. You could put it at 1%, 5%. Let's just call it what about the 5 to 10% chance that Justin Fields is actually good in real life?
That's that's
all of a sudden mind explosion.
No, exactly. What if he's good?
Send him and sign him a 4 or 5 year contract and throw $100 million at him or whatever.
Dude, it sounds crazy to say, hey, what if Justin Fields is a good quarterback? What if he's just average? What if he's the average real life quarterback? Dude, his dynasty, just the way he scores points and if he's actually good and is putting up totals, genuinely, I don't even want to make a guess at his ADP or whatever because I just don't even really care. He would just be such a smash pick quarterback to own if he was actually good.
Oh my god! I mean, we're just to take him round 1. I mean, it'd basically be like Jackson. I mean, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, I think that's like the interesting Justin Fields conversation. It says like I'm not drafting him because I think he's good. I'm not even drafting him because I think he's going to be a year 2 starter. I'm drafting him because I think he's going to score points this year, and that's all that people care about. And I can have the choice to trade him. I can try to ride him out. Like the options are unlimited, and I can choose to get out, like you said with like Andrew or whatever. Like I can choose to get out at any time. Like it's I can ride the highest.
Basically, Blake, like you said, he's Derrick Henry, he's Devontae Adams, he's George Kittle, but also with the hidden upside that he's actually young and plays a position where you can be good until you're like 35. And there's just that small % chance that he might actually surprise people and have improved and be good in real life. And then you're just, it's all free value that you've gotten on your team. And you're just like hit the lottery in terms of value gain in Dynasty.
Yeah, he definitely is out. I personally feel that the odds of that being the case are baked into him going like round 8.
Okay.
And I'm lower than consensus on that happening, which is why I'm a little less in on it. I really think he's a 1 year, but also, I mean, I'm a Steelers fan, and if he fucking hits, I'm gonna be so sad.
Here's my like final like just I'll give you like a scenario, okay? And I think again, I don't think this is like insane, though. Again, this is like higher range of outcomes. This is probably not. I don't know. I don't want to say it's like likely, but let's just say he's QB5, okay? Getting there, like everything you said, he's just running for touchdowns. They're designing. He's dumping it off and just like I don't know. Everything's coming together, and let's just say it's like literally a month into the season. It's 4 games. He's QB5. Everyone's going, holy smokes! Like I'm an idiot for not drafting Fields. And
I'm telling you to sell.
exactly. But what is his? What are you going to be able to get for Justin Fields at QB5 after like a red hot? Like I'm talking 24 points per game quarterback because it's a 4-game sample. Like, dude, don't you think you could like flip him for like? All the like any quarterback above them that's not smashing, because like a few of them are going to be cold. Like you genuinely might get a plus on them. Although I know it sounds nuts, but like that's just how the dynasty brain warps in 1 month. It's a full 30 days to like melt. Like holy crap, I messed up. Justin Fields good. Good fantasy QB, and it's like maybe it's like JJ McCarthy where it's like. They run the ball more than expected. He just has bad touchdown variance, and you're flipping Fields into McCarthy. Like, that sounds insane. I guarantee that's a real range of outcomes.
Yeah, I mean, it is. That's correct. So
that's just, like, my question is, like, at the price of, like, an 8-9, is that not, like, a pretty damn good bet to make it, like on paper?
Yeah, you might have converted me. I also have a problem that when I'm drafting, I assume everybody will make the reads I make. And I would
which is
make
a mistake.
If his passing is mid and he's scoring tons of fantasy points, like I will not be buying him from you. Like because
I'm not gonna buy him on the way up. That's the thing too. I'm not gonna buy him on the way up, but I'm gonna buy him right now.
I think it highlights the fact that it's good to know the environment of your league and like the managers, and like if you're in a really smart league where you think like these managers are going to know better, then maybe you avoid Fields. But maybe if it's more of a casual league or you think you got a few suckers in there that I can flip Fields and season to these guys, then maybe you're more inclined to take them. So I think that's the benefit of it.
Like I don't think you're wrong at all, Jake, but anything you're saying about Fields, like that's the best part. Like I also don't think anything I'm wrong, like what the range of outcomes is wrong. Like that's also the best part. It's kind of just like it's just a difference of perspective, which is awesome because like that is something I've like been trying to do more because I just have not thought about this in previous seasons. Where it's like, what are the ranges of outcomes? Like, what am I like? I'm gonna draft Fields in redrafts. Like, why am I not getting them in Dynasty? Because again, like I don't need to ride him out until he's dead. Like I'm just looking to. Hey, I'll even get his boost potentially if he's actually balling. He'll be my starting lineup. I get the rental.
Yeah.
You're gone, buddy. Like, for
your team's a wagon. I don't really think any team is really going to touch you unless you have an unlucky amount of busts, which is possible. But you're pretty nice, so
I'll never
I like being a tanker because
Maybe we should look at our maybe we should look
yeah.
at our teams now because we never did that when we were doing all the team reviews. We ran out of time, so maybe we should have Jacob
Okay.
Look at our 2 rosters and you know, give his opinion on.
Oh,
But by the way,
up to you guys.
that is the ultimate. You've ultimately cursed me. Like this was all said in our Grease Bowl league. Like my team was like basically all first round like redraft picks. And they were like, they were like not Derrick Henry. They were Jefferson, Chase, all those guys like BTJ, and then it's like that team missed playoffs. It did have the most points for, but it anything's possible. So I am not confident.
I had a nice team last year that missed the playoffs. I had Puka, Nico, AJ Brown.
My god, I could see.
There's others. But like,
the injuries
died.
All three.
So bad.
Cold start on that one. All 3 of those guys got hurt for an extended period of time.
Yeah, and I just and my PF even was like 4th even with all that, but I had unlucky losses, and I missed. I was 7th seed, lost to.
That's a perfect lesson though to like how I built this team and how I've adjusted like coming out of startups. Is like I don't care to have the most value in my dynasty lineup anymore. In my current dynasty life form, I want a good team. I want a team that projects good, a team that's still valuable. But like I want to like have the security of picks to bail me out when Nico, AJ Brown, and Puka get hurt because no one can see that coming, and it sucks. But it's just gonna happen. So like that's like how I've constructed this team. Is like, I'm going to lean into the variance of the season, and I'm not going to put all my chips in to be like, yeah, I'm going to build the best, most valuable lineup because it looks good on paper. I'm shifted in that sense. So, like, that was my philosophy coming in here.
Yeah, I mean, your team's really good. I think, and your trading backs were super fucking annoying to observe because you won every single trade back and got way too much future draft capital, and I was just like, this...
I was trying to tell Jacob. I was trying to tell the chat.
I disagree on all these.
Like, what are you guys gonna learn? Like, nothing good happens. I'm like, can't you see? Like, you guys are just making a monster here.
Look, I gave the Burrow to give the Chase owner a Burrow. Like, I'm sorry, you gotta overpay to come up to pick 5 to get that stack. So like
that upset me, and you got the overpay, and I was just like, "Yep, there it is."
Hey man, that's there's a tip for anyone to start up. If you missed out on Chase and you're sitting on Burrow, go to the Chase owner to like that's your best trade partner now. Worked out, but like honestly, did like I mean, again, I can't even remember all the trades, but like there was one time I traded back from like this 9th round range to the late 11th for like a 3rd, which like. I don't think anyone else is going to do. I don't even like, there's still like really good players on the board, but I'm just like, yeah, I want Charbonnet. Like, I need a pick in the 11th, so I'll just take a 3rd.
Yeah, Char was a good pick. I think I commented that. I think I literally said Sharp, good pick.
Yeah. I'm willing to take like less than like if it makes sense for my plan. I don't need to win every trade, but obviously these high leverage windows like I agree. Like I'm trying to get value out of those areas.
And by the way, the team currently has Amon-Ra on top of that because you did your trade win.
Hey, you're selling yourself short here in the starting
That's true.
lineup.
That's true. Maybe
I did have a couple takes on your picks though. I mean, your process was great, and you got the future capital, and I was just like eye rolling every time. I kind of didn't like the lack of foundational skill positions you left with.
Yeah.
Even though your team's awesome and you had the future picks to like fill out, I kind of was like, he could have not traded back once and like stuck and shot on like on a good player.
Mm-hmm.
I think and by the way, it was a sharp draft. Like this is super nitpicky. Like it's relative. Like I had no issues, but
you wanted a Ibuka on here,
huh?
You wanted an Olave or an Ibuka on here.
Something I don't know. But I wasn't a fan of the Purdy pick because I think JJ and Trevor are both clearly higher ceiling. I mean, I know the past Purdy ceiling, but like the offense is worse now. Like Debo's gone, Ayuk's gone, Kittle's older, CMC might be.
Let me counter you right there. That all of them were gone last season.
And was it good?
All of them were hurt. Yeah, dude. I mean, here's the thing. It wasn't like over the moon. He actually did have like 2 outlier like 3-point per game performances. If you were to remove that sample, Like, dude, like if you look at Purdy, I will die on this grave this offseason. Purdy is like genuinely a second round startup pick, like value points per game value wise.
Interesting.
Like he is the most undervalued quarterback there is. There's no way, again, even projecting high range of outcomes for Lawrence, there is no chance I'm taking Lawrence over him. There's no chance I'm taking like any of these other quarterbacks.
What is the statsy argument?
He is one of the highest points per game. Like one of the stickiest stats. He's one of the highest points per dropback quarterbacks. He's top 5 every year. One of the stickiest stats. He just did it with like his entire team rinsed and injured. Again, he got hurt, so his finish looks not as good as it nearly was. But he missed like the last 2 games. If you also, again, I know that's like nitpicky. If you remove like the 2 random games where it's like there was that, remember that Ravens one where it was like a huge game, they scored like 3 points. Okay, if you remove the complete outlier, dude, like that skews like pretty heavily your points per game.
Okay.
And again,
alright.
if you if you remove that outlier, like of legit, like even just that one game, everything will look like holy crap, that's Brock Purdy. Also, it's been 2 seasons now. He was QB6 the year prior, and was just like dominant. I can't think of a reason why Brock Purdy would be losing ADP after last year. Gets the contract. I will leave it at that. I love Brock Purdy's ADP.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard this take, so you sound like it's well informed. I guess my view at the time, just to give the take, probably
dude, you're with everyone. Like
But yeah, my view at the time was, and this is also a philosophy thing too, which we said we might discuss. But like, if I'm on I guess for the redraft example, if I'm on the board and there's a wide receiver who will score 18 points per game with 100% certainty, or there's a wide receiver who will score 25 at 50% or 11 at 50%, so the exact same expected value of 18 points per game, I will always take the higher floor, I will always take the higher ceiling, lower floor guy. I will always do it. So if I'm on the board in this, and that's reflective, I think, on all my receiver picks. If I'm on the board,
not break room.
I'm in the.
You're
right. Yeah. You're correct.
No, I had to throw that one out there. I'm sorry.
Well, I think there's reasons for why it aged badly.
Yeah.
I do think that was the philosophy at the time, and we just fucked up our evals.
Okay.
But like if I'm on the board in the 4th round, and there's someone who 100% will be a 4th round value next year, or there's someone who's 50% chance to be like, 20 ADP spots higher and 50% 20 lower, I will always take the guy who's more variant. Yeah. So that was my view of McCarthy and Trevor. Like, I mean, your Purdy argument's good, so maybe I'm wrong. But my view is like, this is going to be Purdy next year.
Yeah.
And like Trevor and JJ might bust, but like they might throw a lot and run a lot and be legit second round startup picks next year. But you ended up getting JJ 2 picks later anyway.
Yeah.
So
I had that was the thing. I had the option, and no, that's a great point though. That's ended up like why I also took McCarthy. Like McCarthy's ceiling and dynasty value is insane, right? So like
he might be a 1st round startup.
Exactly, which is a good point. Like that's where like the Brock Purdy thing, like dude, the season he just had, if he went down in ADP and is a 4-6, he's doomed to be the next Jared Goff, dynasty wise. No one's gonna ever respect them. This is just a pure like I'm making this pick. He's gonna be my quarterback. I'm not looking to flip him. I'm not playing that game. I'm just believing in the value.
I had no idea he was that nice, so that's interesting. I did not know the points per dropback thing or whatever. Yeah. And then my other take on your draft was, I think CMC is a little weird.
Interesting.
I think you didn't take him round 5, which is correct.
Yeah, I did have to take him earlier than I wanted, but
my view on him, or I think there is a consensus that if he's healthy, he is CMC. But like his limited sample size last year was kind of pretty mid, and you can make the cope that like he was playing hurt, which maybe, but that's always the cope on every old guy who falls off. And it's only true half the time. And we know their line got worse this offseason, like guys left and they took a bunch of rookies, I guess. So I kind of am like, even if he's healthy, he also might be kind of.
Look,
it's
a fair point. It's a fair point. You actually had 0 touchdowns in there as well. Look, hey, remember 2 years ago?
Like I'd way rather have Chase Brown or who is it, Devontae Smith in that range. Like, yeah,
I agree.
So
these guys
really okay.
And
is
Chase Brown has high odds of just being an RB1, and yeah, like I would rather have those.
Yeah.
Assets, probably
I would
worthy
just take a
too.
younger running back that doesn't have injury issues. And
Okay.
look awesome last year. So like I don't totally get the CMC thing either, but
This is. Let me like here's again maybe just a difference in like outlook and like here's my thing with like the CMC, and again I normally want to take him later, but I knew Joey was gonna take him, and then I had 2 picks after, so like.
And by the way, real quick before I think the range you took him was way more respectable than where I've seen him. Like I've seen him go like early round 5, like that's nonsense.
Yeah, I'm not
like,
taking him there.
You took him, I'm like, all right, like.
This was higher than I will say this. This is higher than I even wanted to, but like normally I'm seeing him go like in the break room mid to 6 to late 6, and it's just like smash. Like I'm not even thinking about it. But here's my I don't know. This is what I'll live by at least for this off season. And you know, again, it sounds like you guys are on the other side of this. When it comes to like this is like the ultimate test where like okay, what if CMC's healthy, has the healthy season, and Chase Brown, like, actually, like, I'm not even going to say injury, just, like, Chase Brown, he's just, like, the flash in the pan. It's like, you know, he's just because he's Chase Brown. Like, dude, he's going to be a guy, like, guaranteed in the future, whether it's he has 1 year or the second year, we're going to look back at, like, 2030 and be like, hey, remember Chase Brown? Like, this dude, he's just, like, such a classic, like, I would almost call him like a dead zone running back, but that's disrespectful because again, he could be like legit a league winner this year. Like that, there is no doubt about that. So like, I can't argue.
Call him James Robinson.
Well, I'm not gonna call him James Robinson because like he doesn't have an Achilles injury and like it's like actually good and not like completely unathletic.
Injury, but you're saying he's like this guy that doesn't have great draft capital. That's just
but that archetype,
like, in the pan on one good season.
Like again, it's not like that accurate because like the skill sets, but it's like the Damian dude. We see these guys come in, Damian Pierce, Ramondre Stevenson. Like we see these guys come in and out and out. One of them is literally the greatest running back in fantasy history, or at least like in the modern day since LaDainian Tomlinson. It's like, yeah, like I'm not gonna use that 3-game sample size. I have a sample size of like literally 1 year removed of being like, if you had him, you won your championship. So like. It is a risky pick, like, just overall. It's a high draft capital still, but it's like, if he's healthy, like, genuinely, you probably win your league if you chose CMC. I can't say that about, like, genuinely any other player in the entire player pool in a startup. Like, honestly,
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, we don't even seem to be acknowledging the possibility that Chase Brown could actually be good at football and could actually have like a really good career and produce a lot of fantasy points year after year. I'm not saying it's likely, but I mean, there have been a lot of running backs, I'm sure, over the years that didn't have good draft capital or were even like undrafted.
Yeah.
I mean Austin Eckler, like, wasn't he like a UDFA or a late?
It's possible. Yeah, no, it's certainly possible. Like that's also like his splits were not good. Like he was extremely inefficient. Even Brown. Receiving, yeah, like his splits, Who? Chase Brown, like his splits that I saw, like, you know, again, maybe like, I don't know, you could get on the different range of things. They were not impressive they were good pre-workhorse, post-workhorse, he was extremely inefficient.
Like when you're saying splits, like what stats exactly are you talking about? Rushing, like, receiving yards, what?
Yeah, actually, his yards per reception was extremely low, like true PPR scam, which is good, which is fine. You want to get receptions. He was extremely inefficient with them. His like literally,
he's probably better as a rookie. I mean,
far better off the small. Yeah, because of a small sample, right? So like, Chase Brown is just like I don't know, like it's the same bet as McCaffrey. That's the funniest part. It's the exact same bet, but I'm gonna take the one that's like that was the 101 last year, not the guy that's like, what is he, a 25 or 26-year-old Canadian 5th round pick. Like I have so much more confidence in the non-Canadian 5th round pick than I do like the best fantasy running back. And he could. The funniest thing, they both could be like smashes, and they both could so easily be like just burnt like into a crisp. They both have that. They have the same kind of range of outcomes. I don't know. I just prefer my bet on CMC. Like, I
already
guess
12:48 M here on the East Coast. How about we transition over to Drunk Heisenberg, which is my team, because
Okay.
we got to be signing off
Yeah,
here
yeah.
soon, and I want to make
Uh-oh.
sure my team's covered here. I want to hear
That's
Jacob's
right.
take my startup draft here.
Let's see. Where's Joe Kaiser? Okay, there we go. Have you? Oh yeah, you've made a bunch of trades, so I guess.
Yeah, so the team definitely looks a lot different.
Yeah.
I originally was a pretty much zero running back build where out of the startup draft, like my best running backs were Travis Etienne and Jordan Mason and Ramondre Stevenson. But now I have Ashton Genty and RJ Harvey and what's my other good running back? Oh, A-Chain. I traded for A-Chain as well. So
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up.
yeah,
Like,
I lost some of my, great loaded wide receiver room, but overall, I definitely think the team is more well-rounded, ready to compete right away.
yeah, we'll look at your draft and then we'll go to your lineup there.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was pretty sharp. I think your Marv pick was very bad, but all the other picks were very good. I don't know, maybe I'm kind of out on ETN, but it was the 12th round, so that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, like I thought all your picks were really good. I
Thank
thought you kind of cooked. I mean, Jared is also cooked in trades, so no indictment on overall trends. But I thought you cooked him in you traded Neighbors for Hurts in 2 seconds. I was just like, what?
Yeah, I mean, he knew he was overpaying, but I was just like, you know what? I'm not letting let go the Neighbors unless you're gonna overpay. So he just wanted to do it.
Yeah, I thought I was low. So by the way, the whole draft was good. So I feel like I shouldn't take too much time to glaze all the picks. Like they were good.
Oh, come on, glaze.
But
Feel free. Jacob.
Yeah, they were good. Ricky, I thought was good value. You traded up to get him. I was kind of hoping he'd fall, but I also knew this is what I'm giving up. But I still thought the value was fine. I think I ended up taking the 204 pick or 205. I don't remember.
Ricky 204. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, and Jordan Mason, by the way, he's cool. Like his splits last year were pretty good. I think he's probably gonna Alpha Jones. That's actually my bet.
Yeah,
I have Jones in I have Jones in one place, and I also have Mason randomly or correctly, I guess. But his splits were better than Jones, so I he's a really good value. But yeah, the Marv pick, I think the thing with him is I guess it's tough to actually say what a player's ceiling is, but if he hits as a Jefferson ceiling, it will manifest in a top 10 target rate and a top 10 yards per out run with a good pass volume. That's just what it will look like, and he'll be awesome. But Nico Collins and Drake London are already that. They already are top 10 in target rate and top 10 in yards per out run currently. And they just are in a bit of a... Nico was in a little bit of a lower volume this year, and he got hurt. But they had to run the ball a lot just because Diggs died and Dell died.
Yeah.
Nico got quintuple teamed every play, and that was it. And then, Drake London sort of was lower volume with Kirk and had some problems with Kirk. But, on the year, Drake London was top 10 in both. Nico was top 10 in one and top 5 in the other or something. And so, they are already, in my opinion, hitting at the Jefferson level. It's just,
their name's not Jefferson. That's literally been my Nico take is dude, you're getting Jefferson, but you're not paying the price of Jefferson because his name's Nico Collins, and I agree.
Yeah, exactly. And and I remember in the draft, Blake, we talked about, because I was trying to move up, but this was back when Dan was on the board.
Yeah.
Because I was like, fuck, I really, really want Drake or Nico, and Dan's gonna take Trey because he's BPA, and then the next 2 picks are gonna be Nico London, and I'm gonna miss, and I need one of these guys.
Yeah.
And then Dan took Marv, and then I backed out. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get one of them, so I didn't end up trying to pursue that. But yeah, I'm very bullish on London. His splits last year were really good. If they throw league average, he'll just be awesome. So he's in that tier for me. I think he's way closer to Neighbors than he is to the next tier of JSN Wilson or whoever. His splits are there. He's done it more than 1 year on those elite splits.
Oh yeah, I agree. And actually, Jacob, my plan was to take Drake London in the 2nd round. That was the plan. I didn't really want to take him there because it just felt like a tad early. my hope was to trade back a few spots and then still take Drake London, but no one was sending me any offers. I guess I could have sent some out. I probably should have. Just
Oh man,
to move
did
back
we have a discussion? I don't remember, but I would
Yeah.
have totally moved up if it was
Oh,
reasonable.
really?
Yeah.
I really
Well, I
wanted-
was gonna say,
God,
like-
I should have done that then. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a mistake there. I don't know if I was just feeling lazy,
Yeah.
like I don't feel like sending out offers, and like no one's sending me anything. So
Yeah.
clearly no one wants to trade up, but that was clearly a wrong assumption there. And so I was just going to take London. I also wasn't really expecting McBride to be there, so I was kind of like, oh gosh, like do I need to take McBride here? But it just didn't feel exciting to me. I've really been like fading tight end this offseason, and it just seems like a bad bet, kind of. I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong, but it just seems like I've gotten burned in the past when I've bet on tight ends and taken them early, whether it's early in redraft or early in dynasty, and then the next year they're not as good, and it's just like, oh, why the hell did I spend this high pick on a tight end? I just should have taken a wide receiver. So I think I just had my mindset that I just wasn't going to take a tight end unless maybe Bowers had fallen into a spot I liked. So yeah, I just wasn't like totally feeling McBride, even though I think it would have been a fine pick, but it just didn't like make me feel warm and fuzzy inside. So London was probably going to be the pick. But then just like, I don't know, my gut was just telling me that like, I think Marv's just going to end up being a better receiver.
Yeah.
So I know right now London is the better receiver. He's more proven. Yeah, he's got great metrics and everything, and he probably should have been the pick. But if I'm just forecasting and following my gut, I just think Marv's going to take a leap. And also what was even a little bit of a tiny tiebreaker is there are big play bonuses in this league. And I just don't think of Drake London as a big play bonus guy.
That's fair.
I actually owned him in a league last year that had very significant big play bonuses, and he was just so mid.
Yeah.
Like I know he's going to be better this season, and Penix is in there, and they have a connection, and probably going to sling and everything. So I love London this year. Like even though it might not sound like it. And I drafted him in another startup this offseason, and I'm so thrilled that I at least have the one share of him. But in a league with big play bonuses, with Marv on the board, and knowing that if I don't take Marv here, I might not get him, I just think he's going to be the better NFL wide receiver and probably better in fantasy within the next year or so.
Yeah, I mean, he totally could be. Yeah, like, and I really hope so. I was his biggest truther coming out. I have so many freaking Marv shares. But
great. I think you'll be happy about that within a year.
Yeah, but yeah, my point was more just him hitting his ceiling already is basically what Nico and London are doing right now. So that's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
Where did London finish last year? I mean, it was such a down year for receivers that whatever you tell me, whether it was like wide receiver 5 or wide receiver 10, I can tell you just owning London last year, like it was not exciting. I mean, it felt like Chris Olave stuck on the Saints in a bad situation and just giving you like 12,
sure.
12 13 points.
It's true with Cousins, but like I think that's again like you, and because like Dan always talk about like of course like these guys that are like so just like mid, they always have like a big week 18, and like that was of course what London had. Like
guaranteed. And then it inflates their year-end finish, and it's like, oh, but they were
like we couldn't even use it.
And it's like, well, wait, did you own this guy? Because that was I did, and it was not fun owning them.
But the one like thing, maybe that's like legit priced already into London though. I guess that's one thing to consider is like no one got to use that week 18 score, and like people probably forget about it, and like
right.
But dude, like those Penix games were like, I mean, like that's wide receiver 1 overall type stuff.
But it is a small sample. I mean, we've been talking about small samples a lot lately. Yeah. It is a small sample, but don't get me wrong. I love London. I think he's a great buy in Dynasty. Like, I wish I had more shares of him, and maybe I should have taken him here. But I think the biggest mistake I made is I probably should have either just taken London or McBride, and then, like I was saying earlier, then just started shopping afterwards. And like, hey, you want London? I'll take this pick on the board plus. Knowing that Marv is still on the board, and I'm just going to use that pick on him. So that's what I should have done.
I was trying to move up.
Yeah.
I got really bailed out.
I wish I knew that. Come on, DM me next time.
I think you would have got a trade up with me for cheap if you wanted to come on one spot. By the way, because like I was like just gonna I was probably gonna.
I was dumb to not be proactive and send out offers. I think I was just feeling lazy. Just take my guy here.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of how I had my board ranked, I guess it was like 1 Marv, 2 London, 3 McBride. But if I was doing it just based on dynasty value, I should have probably ranked them McBride, London, Marv. It should have been like basically the reverse order, and then just tried to tier down, even though I'm feel like I'm tearing down to the better player.
Yeah, I would have like taken literally a 4th to go back to like Jacob's pick or something. Like, at worst, like, if you were just gonna pick Marv, like, that's my take. I would have taken anything, like, because, like, no one's gonna take Marv.
Yeah.
Even to take...
just being lazy, but I definitely learned a lesson there.
Yeah.
And, I'm definitely implementing that in the startup I'm doing with Randy right now, where I'm just looking at every pick of, like, what's the best trade piece? Give me that, and then I'm going to mold my team after the draft, doing all kinds of trades, and I'll get whatever players I want at that point.
Yeah. By the way, I want to tap into one thing you meant, the small... By the way, have you seen Drake London's, like, numbers? Like, and I'm talking, like, all the yards per hour.
Hey, I love London, so you
No. With Penix. Like, here's the thing. Like, the small sample regression, when you bake that in, like... He's still a wide receiver 1 overall. Like, it is insane. His target share was like 40%. Okay, you want to say that's going to go down? Like, I mean, you can say it's going to go down 33%. Okay, that's still wide receiver 1 overall numbers. Like, it is like, we were talking about the Amon-Ra, like, end of season thing. You know, again, it's, what is this, year 4 London or something? It's like reminiscent of, like, it was just like the flash at the end of the season. But, like, we do know that's what Michael Penix is. That's how he plays. And dude, also, here's the most bullish London and like Falcons pass catcher thing ever. Look at what happened to the Washington receivers when they came into the NFL, by the way. The most
very good. I guess except for McMillan, but now he's already gotten replaced by
dude, those dudes, like, I mean, they've all extremely disappointing. Well, I mean, again, McMillan, like, I guess, you know, Jacob said his metrics weren't good, but he had his moment scoring touchdowns at the end, whatever, but, like, now he's got replaced, so, like, no one cares now. But, like, if that ain't the biggest, like, get Penix pass catchers thing I've ever seen in my life, dude, like, that's one wide receiver 1 overall type.
And by the way, real quick on the weirdness of the Washington draft, that year, I was fading all Washington players at ADP because I was like, there is no way they had a first-round quarterback, first-round receiver, second-round receiver, third-round, first-round O-lineman, and had the same exact offensive performance as, like, Oregon, which was Nix and Troy Franklin.
Yeah.
So I was really like, this makes no sense. Someone is wrong, and I really didn't take any of them. And it totally worked out, I guess.
I wish I could say the same. Big Jalen Polk ended up getting... traded low for my... I never even ended up drafting the McMillan, though I wanted to.
I took a lot of McMillan, and he definitely went up in value, and then he traded in the drafted Puka, which was unexpected, so what are you going to do? Wish I had sold some.
But yeah, draft was sharp. Just the Marv pick was, I think,
I agree. The process should have bbeen better there. But, I mean, I did flip Marv into... What was it? Neighbors and Genty. No, I'm sorry. Wait, I've done too many trades. I can't even
Marv and...
You did... I don't remember the trade, but I thought it was fun. I thought it was decent for both.
Wait, I got Genty, and I think I got Neighbors. I got Neighbors and Genty. I gave Marv and Brian Thomas. That was it. But then I traded Neighbors back to Jared, and I got A-Chain and 2 seconds or something like that. I don't know.
That's where you guys get me lost. Like, if I'm trading away like player like Neighbors, I'm saying goodbye. I know I'm never touching them again, like, likely in that league ever again.
Right.
And, like, it's like 24 hours later, or, like, even less. Right. And he's already been swapped. And here's the thing. Hasn't he been swapped, like... twice now between you two?
Between them.
Yeah. I can't believe that.
I drafted him, then I traded him to Jared because he really wanted him, but I got hurt. But then, I don't know. I can't even keep track.
I don't even know how that happens because, like, dude, if I were to trade away, literally Neighbors, like, I traded him away actually to Titan, you know, himself in Break Room for the same deal that you got with Hertz. I got 2 seconds on top and got Puka. It's like, all right. I don't know, like, I mean, I'd love to get Neighbors back, but, like, there's no way I could, like, pay up a price after just selling. Like, I gotta just live with my decision.
It was Jared's idea, so I was just
I
okay,
know.
Well, you know, if you want to overpay a little, like, I'll take him. Yeah, basically, I drafted Neighbors, traded him to Jared, and then got him back, and then traded him away back to Jared. So, it's a little goofy, but it's just the way it happened.
It's just, like, I gotta see, like, the before, like, I gotta, like... We should do this of
like the team after the start.
We should do no.
Like better or worse.
We should look at because you guys have made a bunch of trades, right?
Yeah.
We should look at like what you've sent.
here's what I gave away at the beginning, and here's what I got back.
Yeah, we should just like make it a graphic. It's like sent.
Right.
That because I have no idea what that even looked like. It'll
I'm
look
gonna do
crazy.
that because that's really interesting. I'm very curious to know now. So I will do that, and maybe we'll share it on the live stream.
Yeah, because there's too many like trades to even.
Yeah, it's hard to
like what has even happened.
And, like, put it all in one trade and okay, what does it actually look like in its totality?
I don't even have an idea of like where you guys are at between like who's up, who's down.
All I know is like I'm pretty happy with where my team is at now. So yeah, I mean I feel like I'm in pretty good position to contend. As is Blake, and yeah, we definitely got some other good contenders in the league. So yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty competitive here.
Yeah, it'll be a fun.
I'm chilling.
Hey man, it's never too late. It's never too late. You know, but yeah, you'll be set up good year one, and yeah, like Dan was saying earlier, it is good to have a lot of young, talented receivers. Like, if they're even, especially like that's the thing is like. Maybe you are more so looking to like bring him in because like they are really good receivers that I all like basically. But also if another really good receiver gets hurt, like that's where my mind always goes, and you're a rebuilder, it's like, hey, I'll give you Drake London, wide receiver 1, you give me, Malik Neighbors injured, and it could be one of those scenarios where it's like, oh, Drake London literally is wide receiver 1 right now, and now you're adding from Neighbors, like things get wonky in season, especially when injuries and stuff are in play. So there's a lot of potential for you to flip stuff around.
Yeah. Well, it is almost 1 a.m. here. Should we? Do we want to wrap up the stream here? Is there anything else that we want to talk about real quick before we roll out of here?
Yeah, we didn't even like do the wide receiver like technically like right. We're nipping around it, but like we
We didn't even really fully have the discussion that we hinted at when we were kind of teasing
classic
what we're going to be talking about today. So typical us ended up yapping about way too many other things, but yeah, it'll just be a good excuse to have Jacob back on again soon, and we'll have to continue the conversation then.
Yeah. Well, real quick before it ends, I just want to say thanks for having me on.
Yeah, our
I
pleasure.
will say, like, we all got shit going on, but my favorite hobby is doing Dynasty and talking about it. And unfortunately, none of my in real life friends have this crazy autistic obsession with it to the point where I can tell you what the players are off their metrics. And
yeah.
When you put it that way, it just highlights like how absurd and what like
dude,
you really are. It's like just show us some like random metrics. Like that's probably Josh Downs and Jaden Reed. Like,
dude, here's the best part.
A whole different level of sickness.
Here's like, you just take a step back further. If you showed that to Josh Downs or Jaden Reed, they wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even know what you're talking about, dude.
Yeah.
Like they'd be like, that's the funniest part.
Jacob knows Josh Downs and Jaden Reed better than Josh Downs and Jaden Reed know Josh Downs and Jaden Reed.
That's the most hilarious part about like as my final statement about all of like fantasy and like Dynasty. We're like so into the weeds about these like minuscule like details and like metrics because like we see, like dude, coaches and stuff, like sure some like teams do have analytics now and like are aware of this stuff, but like dude, try to tell him that to Pete Carroll. Like this dude has no idea what a yards per route run is. Like it's just hilarious.
Just give me like the awesome running back that you know, really good on tape.
Yeah, these dudes have never heard of these metrics. Like it's just hilarious. Like how I don't know. Yeah, how like NFL teams should be definitely looking at like these type of metrics and taking something from it.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes it seems like the Dynasty community knows things that apparently like the NFL doesn't even seem to know. Like they're late to the party and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for having me on. This is like super fun for me because I really love doing Dynasty. Definitely a bunch of takes ping ponging around the brain that I would like to discuss with you guys sometime as well. So I hope I'm back.
Oh yeah,
on.
for sure. We should do it more often. And my gosh, I mean, we've been meaning to have you back on here. Since the first time you came on, what was probably like months ago now.
Yeah.
And for one reason or another, kept getting delayed or canceled or whatever. So good to have you back on again. And yeah, we will have to do it again soon.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to get you back on. Yeah, we didn't even touch. I mean, that was just scraping the surface. So yeah, if you're into, what is it, the autistic levels of like nerding out,
Degeneracy
like
and Dynasty.
that's
you're in
what
the right
this.
place, so
Yeah.
definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the
Yeah.
stream. Really appreciate all the support. And